Matthew Dees banged home a John Tavares rebound, 2:26 into overtime, and Toronto pushed the Bruins to a Game 6 last night, care of a 2-1 win at TD Garden. The Bees got a goal from Trent Frederick in the first period, but Joseph Wall was great in net for the visitors, making 27 saves as the Leafs won despite the fact they didn't have Austin Matthews. Brad Marchand's team now has to go back to Toronto and try to close this thing out again.
They were just better. They came and they were willing to leave it all on the line tonight. We needed to be better than we were. It's that simple. They were prepared to play and start the game, and we weren't.
The Bruins still lead this playoff series 3-2. Game 6 is at Scotiabank Center tomorrow night. Carolina finished off the Islanders in 5 games, 6-3. Colorado took care of Winnipeg in 5, 6-3. And it was Nashville 2 and Vancouver 1 to push that series to a Game 6. Celtics center Kristaps Porzingis has been diagnosed with a strain of the soleus muscle below his right calf. He's already been ruled out of the team's next game, which is tonight at TD Garden against Miami. This is Game 5 of that first-round playoff series. Celtics up 3-1. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 7 and the tip-off at 7:30 on the BetMGM 98.5 The Sports Hub Celtics Radio Network. The Heat will be without Jimmy Butler, Terry Rozier, and Jaime Jaquez. Celtics president of basketball operations Brad Stevens was yesterday voted the NBA's Basketball Executive of the Year. Last night, Cleveland held off Orlando 104-103. They lead that series 3-2. The winner of the Celtics-Miami series will play the winner of Cleveland and Orlando. And the Red Sox won their third in a row, 4-0 over San Francisco at Fenway Park. This 3-game series continues tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Now open in Weymouth, Canton, Bedford, and Natick. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
This is Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown turns the corner. Finger roll is up and good. Score in the foul.
Listen to home of the Boston Celtics, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
In the office, in your car, in your footy pajamas, this is how Boston sports fans start their day.
I bet you're just jealous.
Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Wait, hello. Hello. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. 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 Hello.
He's naked. He has a sword.
Let's talk about cheese.
Bruins are back from the West Coast.
What the
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, you sweet.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. And you can watch us every morning on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. Subscribe to keep up to date with all the best moments from Boston's Home for Sports. And you can call us 617-779-0985. We're in the Town Fair Tire Studios. I'm sure everyone is very disappointed today as history seems to be repeating itself. The Bruins with a pathetic performance last night. They almost were able to luck into something, and they did not. And this seems like part of the DNA now of this team. I don't think anyone today feels very good about a Game 6, and maybe since it's in Toronto. I'll tell you this: if they don't win Game 6 in Toronto with as bad as I think they're 1-5 in their last home playoff games, if they lose in Toronto, I have absolutely no faith. Put all your money on Toronto.
But I'm telling you right now, I have all the faith that they win tomorrow night.
Why?
I thought they had that thing won twice in overtime last night. Those first two possessions that went into Toronto's end last night, I thought it was done. I thought it was over. And I think Marchand is going to be good and pissed off, as well he should be, after, the call that we'll get to here in a little while. But those double minors that were the matching minors that sent him off last night when they had to go 4-on-4 was one of the more ridiculous, I think, like sequences I've seen in a hockey game in a long time.
Sure.
The fact that he was going to the box at all, and that the linesman came over and took him down to the ice for. I still can't figure it out. And we're going to have Jaffe on later. I don't think Jaffe could figure it out last night. I watched it. I rewatched it. I watched it again this morning. And Marchand is not, completely innocent in that whole exchange, but he got held 2 or 3 times during that. And there was maybe one retaliatory, grab onto, what was it, Holmberg that he was mixing up with? Yeah. So he's going to be good and pissed off. I think Pastrnak obviously has to do something to reassert himself. I think it happens in Toronto in Game 6. Having said that, if for whatever reason they decide to go back to the rotation and they can't, they have to stick with Swayman.
No.
They got to put
the reason
Swayman in
they
there.
were in the game after the first 10 minutes.
They have to. But we've been wrong a couple of times, at least. If you took a poll, it was 50-50 as to who was going to be in net for certain games because we didn't really know. If for some reason they say, now it's a shorter stint here that, Swayman has gotten these 3 consecutive starts now because there's been extra time built in. If for whatever reason they go back to Ullmark for Game 6, I'm going to throw my hands up and say, well, this is what you get and this is what you deserve.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so either, John, but we didn't know.
I don't think that's going to happen. Swayman was unbelievably good for long stretches of time last night, and the Bruins showed me absolutely nothing for the first period and a half, 2 periods. They got their game back in the third, but getting back to what you were saying about Marchand, that was a lousy call. What was it? That was at the end of the second period, right? I mean,
beginning of the third.
There was still a lot of time left for him to be good and pissed off.
I think the power play continued.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. They can be as angry as they want to be. The real danger to all of this is that Toronto found a goaltender that got hot. Joseph Woll is the epitome of mediocre, and he was great last night. Bruins could have won that game 3 or 4 different times. Woll was fantastic. That's the danger. That was the clear advantage you had over this team. Your goaltender was far better than theirs. That wasn't the case last night. When the Bruins finally got their act together, Woll was the reason that Toronto was able to get that game to overtime.
Well, you got to put more shots on net. We've seen this from this team earlier. I mean, what
they got
the hell
cute
are
again.
They
got. I just pictured watching the game if you ever watch a game with Jaffe because we're friends. He goes, shoot it. And like last night in the third period, shoot it. More like passes to the middle, getting broken up, like sticks in the way. I don't know if Marchand was penalized twice ridiculously, but the one I thought you were talking about was 7:29 in the third.
That is the one. There was one that Marchand got called for roughing on Marner. That's the one that I was mistaken it for. That power play carried over into the third.
The Marner penalty, according to Brickley, should have been on both of them. And then Marchand, you're right, didn't do anything and then got taken down by the linesman, which it's got to be embarrassing when they watch the film. And then also, did you see the thing Hurley put out when one of the officials grabbed McAvoy, and it might be Marchand and McAvoy, but I can't remember exactly, but it was McAvoy was one of them. He grabbed him by the sweaters, and he's like shaking him, and then he's like knocking the F off, and it was funny because the both of them look like when you discipline your kids, and but when they take it, and they wouldn't just tell you to F off, when you could, and they would get like a hangdog look. They both look like it's pretty funny, but I don't recall seeing officiating like that where they were like, we're the tough guys.
I've never seen a player taken down like that by an official.
I haven't, but I'm no hockey expert, but I have not. I was Pastrnak and McAvoy.
I've never seen, outside of a fight where they're trying to separate the two guys, I've never seen an official skate over and physically knock a player down.
Did you hear him? Did you lip read what Marchand was saying to him?
Oh, yeah.
Get the F off me.
I thought he came up, and I think he had his left hand back.
He did.
He was getting ready.
He was getting whatever those. I don't know if it's adrenaline in quotes or whatever is coursing through those guys' veins. I thought Marchand was going to hit him.
I really thought so too.
And then the officials started laughing. But I don't think Marchand was kidding. He was like, "Get the F off me."
He says it, and I'm watching it again right now. I'm trying to see if there was like another player coming at him.
No.
I think he's getting ready to hit the.
I totally agree, and I watched it a bunch of times too, and I think he was getting ready to haul off on the linesman. But by the way, like, out of all the players on the Bruins, what skill level do you think Maroon is at in terms of if you had to rank them by skill at this point or athletic prowess? Last. Isn't it funny though? Like, Maroon stands out because you can tell it's a totally different game.
In the second period, you needed him on the ice as much as possible because this team was floundering.
And it's just
he was
so
reason.
funny.
It's and you know what? Give Montgomery credit. I think he double shifted him at times in the third. He had him out there a lot.
He did. And it's like Maroon and Marchand are playoff guys in Pasternak and Lindholm. No. Lindholm again, and I don't know if it's just because it's in my brain, but Lindholm again just seems to be making mistakes. Low-Rye, take it easy, was not good yesterday.
Lindholm is at his best when you don't notice he's out there.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
No, I mean, and
he's not like a physical guy.
In the third, you didn't notice him, which is the good thing. The first two periods are like, oh, there he is again.
He's like a right guard.
Yeah,
you know?
yes.
Yeah.
He is. He's an offensive lineman. When he does his job, that's right, he's playing, but nothing bad has happened.
I'd say he's more like a linesman. I don't look at him as a guy in the trenches.
He's more like the backfield judge.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Honestly, the goal that won it for Toronto, Toronto was getting like easy entry into the Bruins zone, and I think it's Grzelcyk who's over there on the wall.
Yeah,
and
Tavares beat him to the post, and there wasn't. That's the thing. If Tavares
after he said to Tavares, "Come on in." Yeah. There you go. There's the blue line. You've got the puck.
The Bruins
don't let me get in your way. If you want to go to the net, it's this way.
Yeah,
come on, I'll go with you.
Tavares put his shoulder down and just pull and just pushed Grzelcyk to the net, and Grzelcyk just sat there. Yeah, that was terrible.
It was bad.
The thing is, they looked much better. I was optimistic entering overtime because they were much better in the third. They looked normal in the third after playing, say, 35 minutes of lousy hockey.
I think that
they looked much better in the third. I'm like, all right, great. And then they started so well in that first 90 seconds. I'm like, okay, they got this.
They had their first good shift of the game and halfway through the second period. Is they started getting physical, and before that, it was about as bad as you can play, which I don't quite understand. I don't understand what gets into this team, why they come out so flat, and it can't be coaching, because I don't think. I mean, you can't will someone to try. I don't understand what it is. I don't get what it is, but we will have all of that for you. 617-779-0985. Hey, listen, they still got a 2-game lead, but this is eerily
they lost Game 5 in overtime last year. They lost 4-3 in overtime last year at home to Florida. It's just exactly the same thing.
Superb. Well, good stuff. All right, we will have catch you up with all the highlights.
Get the F off me now.
Yeah, get the F off me now.
Good.
I don't know if he had it in his being to punch that linesman, which takes a certain breed, okay? And Marchand is that breed. I don't know how he stopped himself. And had he done it, he'd be gone. If that's it. No more Marchand the rest of the season. He would have been gone.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the...
Had many offers become an insider.
Did you catch a game last night?
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. Paul, go ahead.
Hey, good morning, guys. Toronto fans had so little faith that after that overtime goal was scored, they go back to the square. You see people waving Edmonton flags.
You think they had a backup team?
Absolutely, they have a backup team. It's Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, who can blame them? But here we are. I mean, if they're at least the Bruins have got 3 cups since 1964, was it?
67.
67. The Beatles were still a band.
Yes.
John Lennon was not even the Hollywood Vampires yet, with Alice Cooper and Mickey Dolenz, his drinking club. Were you aware of that? And Harry Nilsson?
No.
The Hollywood Vampires were Alice Cooper, Mickey Dolenz, and Harry Nilsson. And John Lennon got Harry Nilsson so drunk one time, and they went in the studio, and he had Harry Nilsson yell into the microphone until literally chunks of his vocal cords were coming up on the microphone, and it ruined his voice.
Were they real vampires?
Well, they drank the blood.
Okay.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got? What do you got there? What is that? What's
in Hilton Head, I got a burr in my hand, and it stayed in there, and so now I'm compressing it with a moist towel so I can see if I can extract the burr.
Like a sliver?
You know, like what a burr is?
Yeah, like
they're on
bush?
the beach. Yeah,
Okay.
but they're like on the beach. I got one, and it went into my index finger and my thumb.
Okay.
And now they're still in there. And it's not painful, John, so thank you for your concern.
Why don't you let me in there? Because among the things I love most in life are home surgeries.
Yeah, you and my daughter. You're not popping it right. You got to pop it. You got to put your nails in it. Why aren't you popping it right?
I mean,
what is it with women in wanting to see things popped?
It's very cathartic for them. I don't know. It's been one of life's great mysteries for me, too.
It's disgusting. Like, why do you want to see this?
Women and Scott Zolak. Whenever you see him looking at his computer on TV or here at work, he's watching cyst, pimple popping, and like bug bite popping videos.
Dude, the core's about to come out, dude.
You got to get the core.
How many times have you been forced to sit there? You more than me.
Yeah.
The core, dude. Check it out.
But when it comes to like slivers, or one time Marcy had a very badly injured nail. She pinched it in the shower door, and it was it had like the blood blister underneath the nail. You know how we release the pressure on that, Fred?
How?
Tiny little drill bit, 1/16 DeWalt, and you just take that thing and you just hand turn it with your fingers, and went right through the nail bed, and boom, that blood came up. Sweet relief.
Someone might have used a needle, but why? When you have a
you can use a hot needle.
Why
but
not?
She was afraid of the hot needle. I said, "Let Daddy
get the old toolbox out.
Get his drill bits out." There's a video of it on my Instagram.
Did you
I left it up
sterilize
there.
that drill bit? No.
But she was drinking so much that I think there was no way any infection was going to invade her blood stream. She had a lot of wine. A lot of wine.
Okay.
Let's just say that there was no Jergens needed in the house after that.
You see, why you got to take a beautiful home surgery and make it filthy?
Because I made it about your marital bed.
Let's talk about the Bruins. Hey, tell me something about the Bruins. They now have a 1-game lead over the Toronto Maple Leafs after falling last night in overtime 2-1 at TD Garden. Scoring began with the Maple Leafs in the first period.
And off the draw, Marner's got it up top. McCabe shoots, he scores! McCabe through a crowd, sizzles it by Swayman. And the Leafs open the scoring. They lead it 1-0.
Which makes sense because they were the only one actually taking shots in the first period.
Yeah,
so.
the Bruins had 2 shots in the first period. It's about as bad as you could play, and it was tied. No one felt good after the first period.
They got a gift to keep them in the game.
Yes.
I mean, that was...
Benoit wrapped up with Boquist. Out in front, Frederick shoots, he scores! Trent Frederick does it again to his old buddy, Joseph Wall. Drills it in, his third of the playoffs. Bruins 1, Leafs 1.
So they're shooting 50% for the period at the end of the first period.
What would you say the possession was in the first period? 80-20?
Yes.
85-15?
And they came out in the first period tied for hits. which is insane considering you figure that
Who's
Toronto
doing the counting?
Had,
My God.
well, no, but that Toronto had the puck 80% of the time, but yet the Bruins still somehow managed to be equal in hits. You would think that it would be at least slanted in their direction that way.
The last time I saw the Bruins play that poorly in a playoff game was Game 7 against St. Louis.
No,
I can't think of another playoff game they played that badly in a period than in Game 7 against St. Louis.
The good thing about Game
2019.
7 in St. Louis is they played so bad, but I contend by the end of it, no one cared.
Well, I was going to say the good thing was they played so badly that with about 4 minutes left in that game, I was there with Beetle. We were way up on the press level watching that thing, and Beetle looked at me and said, "You want to get out of here?" I said, "Absolutely." And we left Game 7 of a Stanley Cup final with the issue still in doubt. There was no doubt. They were not winning that game. We beat the crowd.
That's a Game 7 that I cannot fault you for leaving. I mean, it was so boring. Like, I remember, like, here's the Bruins series. We'll have all morning to talk about this, but like when you talk, like the Carolina series that they lost
up 3-1,
where Aaron Ward was on Carolina, and then there was the Philadelphia series that they were up 3-0.
Mm-hmm. 3-0 in Game 7.
Yeah, the Blackhawks Stanley Cup Final series, like those sucked. That St. Louis game was just so bad. It was just such a bad brand of hockey that, like, the next day I didn't even care. Like, it was hard to care.
Yeah.
That was sort of like the first period last night. Like,
yep.
I don't, like, the crowd wasn't into it at all, as you shouldn't be. You had nothing to cheer for. Literally, almost nothing to cheer for. You had that goal, and then one other shot. And then other than that, the play was completely slanted the other way. And, I mean, it was almost impossible to stay focused on with the internet and everything else going on.
Seriously. I mean, you sat there thinking, this is a waste of an hour of my life.
Yeah, like, or
why am I watching this?
Like, if there's other things laying around, how am I not, like, looking at that stuff? Like, you want me to just, like, look at this the whole time? It's very difficult.
Well, one of the things that gives me hope is the way Jeremy Swayman played, and the hope, belief, faith that they will start him again in Game 6. Swayman was outstanding last night.
Now Tavares left to the net, fires. Swayman came out to challenge, got a piece with a blocker. Here's Domi across. Riley shoots. Swayman, what a stop! Right to left, and he holds.
So he was coming out of the net at the right time, but he was also playing good positioning, good position goaltending, and he's got something, I don't want to say Tuukka-like about him, but there's a lot of times when he is making the right plays, and he's not all that flashy doing it because he's just in the right spot.
Quiet.
Very, very quiet.
Very quiet.
An economy of movement. I like it. I liked watching it. I felt good last night. Obviously, when you get back-to-back chances like that, and Domi gets the junk in front, and then he's as opposed to the junk in the back. Where's Nicholas? He did his job, and that was it. That was it for the goals in this game in that first period. And then he just had to, like you said, Fred, suffer through.
Yeah, when he made
the
big save, and he was smiling afterwards when he was giving the puck back to the official, like he was, he's relaxed. He seems to be very locked in and very relaxed right now. I imagine that the team sees that, and I imagine that I can't imagine making a change in goal for Game 6, especially in Toronto where he's had all that success and how well he played.
Well, problem
it would be really, really strange. I mean, it would if they lose Game 6 and then ultimately lose the series. I mean, you'd have to, if your ownership, be like, what are we doing with the coaching situation? Unless those decisions are being made from above Montgomery, which there is some talk that they are.
Yeah, no head coach in their right mind would go away from this guy. If Omar plays Game 6, that isn't a Montgomery decision. There's no way that Montgomery can look at what has happened over the last 3 games and go, you know what? I don't want that guy in net.
No,
I'm married to this rotation thing. Damn what I see.
The rotation is done. So if you go back to it now you're just being stupid. It was kind of stupid to begin with, but that's what you decided. That's what you decided months ago you were going to do. You were going to have your identity built on 2 goaltenders. Okay, dumb, but go ahead, do it. And they did it until there was no reason to do it. There's no reason to do it now. The problem is the guy in net at the other end, who was very good last night, Boston College's own Joseph Wall.
Out in front, Frederick shoots. Wall to save the rebound available. That puck is still free. They're jousting for it, and finally, they say it's covered.
That happened several times last night. Refs lost sight of the puck a couple of times, and just big scrums in front of the net. But
Frederick had him. He had him on the left post.
Well, Coyle had him
himself. Coyle had him. Frederick especially had him. And that guy, that's the scary part of all of this, is that Toronto made the goaltending change. They needed to because Samsonov was bad. And they found this kid, and he was great. As good as Swayman last night. That's the scary thing. A mediocre goalie who gets hot in the playoffs.
Oh, boy. How many times have we heard that? And that sucks. That sucks for the Bruins right now because, as Wallach just said, they've just found a guy who now, does one game constitute hot? No.
If you score early in Game 6 and he's you can get to him. But the thing is that every minute that goes by without getting anything past him,
it's confidence. You came through in a big spot for your team, and if you look at Wall's numbers, I mean, he's just a guy. You throw him in a hat with 70 other goaltenders in this league and that have played over the last decade. He's right in the middle of all of that. And he came out and played great last night. And his confidence level to be able to do that in a situation where your team's season is on the line and everyone's already counting you out, I think the first 5-10 minutes of the game tomorrow night, very important.
Very important
to beat that guy.
And by the way, we haven't mentioned it yet. Toronto didn't have their best player.
Yes, that's correct.
That you might want to throw into the pot there.
Well,
is Toronto didn't have their best player.
Well, the Bruins didn't have one of their best players last night for at least a couple of minutes because this happened.
And then went at him.
Holmberg went to the hit. Marchand knocked him down. No, Holmberg knocks him down. They're going to take both of them. They didn't have an original penalty.
And
now a linesman just wiped out
Marchand.
So this started right off the face-off, Judd. Marchand won the draw, and then they got all tied up in the face-off circle. And I didn't mind the call in the second period. I'm not crazy about this one. They're taking them both, but I thought the Bruins should come out with a power play out of this one.
And they did not. Holmberg and Marchand go off. Still can't figure out why Marchand ended up serving 2 minutes for roughing on that when he was held 2, maybe 3 times throughout that sequence, and then was taken down to the ice by a linesman for no apparent reason.
Tackled. I've never seen that by an official in a non-fight situation.
Marchand had a good chance too. He had a good chance in the third. I mean, it's a shot you don't see him miss on very often, but he did, which allowed just 2 minutes and change into the overtime session for this to unfold.
Up the far side, the Leafs crank it ahead. Here's Tavares. He'll motor his way in, drops the shoulder, set it out in front. They score! Matthew Nye's able to scoop up a loose puck in the slot. He scores in overtime. And the Toronto Maple Leafs stay alive, and the Bruins miss a big opportunity to finish off the series.
Thank you for that, Judd. Motors his way in. That's correct. That is absolutely correct. Tavares just came into that zone with a lot of speed and then made his way toward the net and got behind, put the puck out in front, and that was it. 2-1 the final. It's 3-2 Boston with Game 6 in Toronto.
And everyone's feeling very good because Lord knows when they have 3-1 leads in series, it all works out for them.
It happened to another. I mean, Vancouver had the same situation last night. They had home ice. They were up 3-1 and lost 2-1. But this is so much different. The history of this team, my God, I don't feel confident at all.
I do. I think they're going to have all kinds of venom in their blood, and they're going to go out and if they score first on Wall tomorrow night, you just go to bed. It's over.
Really?
Win. Yep.
It's over.
It's over.
First, if they score first,
you're gonna turn him back into. You're gonna knock that kid back to the Ozarks or wherever the hell he's from.
That was a
He's from the
Cinderella Man
Ozarks.
reference right there. Very
Yeah,
good.
He's actually
That's
from the
really
Ozarks.
impressive.
I had that on the brain yesterday.
Wow.
Knock him back to the
goddamn Ozarks.
I think he is from Missouri or something.
He's from St. Louis.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
He's from the Ozarks.
Yeah, right. Well, is St. Louis the Ozarks? Are there mountains in St. Louis?
I don't think so.
You could have.
There's an arch.
Well, no, in St. Louis though, you could have property in the Ozarks.
Yeah, that's where your summer home would be.
Yeah, it would be on the lake.
How
in the
far away are
Ozarks.
the Ozarks from St. Louis?
Oh, I mean, but by as the crow flies. Is
Yeah,
that what you're asking me?
No. It's the duck walks.
Oh, that I can't tell you.
Well.
I'm more of a crow guy. Ask John.
Wallach, how long would it take you to get from
Well,
downtown
since you
St.
asked.
Louis to your summer nest in the Ozarks?
Yeah, if you're going from the arch where you sometimes
Perch,
reside,
Roost.
Right, roost.
and then you're
Sure.
heading to the lowlands.
Right.
All right, so we will be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Give Toronto credit. They came into TD Garden and kept their season alive. They beat the Bruins 2-1 in overtime last night. Matthew Nyes, the game winner at 2:26 of extra time. Joseph Wall, 27 saves in net. Bruins still lead this first-round playoff series 3-2, but Game 6 up in Toronto tomorrow night. Celtics play Miami at TD Garden, leading that first-round playoff series 3-1 this evening. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 7, and the tip-off at 7:30 on the BetMGM 98.5 The Sports Hub Celtics Radio Network. Kristaps Porzingis out for tonight and for the near future. He's been diagnosed with a soleus muscle strain in his right calf. The Heat are expected to be without Jimmy Butler, Terry Rozier, and Jaime Jaquez. Celtics president of basketball operations, Brad Stevens, yesterday voted the NBA's Executive of the Year, and the Red Sox beat San Francisco at Fenway Park last night 4-0. The two teams will continue their 3-game series tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by East Coast Metal Roofing, the official roofing partner of the Boston Celtics. Mention 98.5 The Sports Hub and get 10% off your new roof. Visit eastcoastmetalroofing.com. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, and we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. What's going on, Hardy?
Well, don't feel bad since the Bruins had a chance to close things out last night with a 3-1 series lead. There was a bit of an epidemic of that last night when you factor in what happened in the NBA as the New York Knicks failed to close out the Philadelphia 76ers, losing 112-106 in overtime. Similar thing happened in Cleveland last night. I take that back. Cleveland actually got the win. It was the Indiana Pacers who had a 3-2 lead, and I don't quite know what happened in this game.
Portis comes away with a steal at midcourt. He's going the other way in. He will fuck it home. Well, Indiana appears to have folded up the tents.
I say I don't know what happened because they got blew out by the Milwaukee Bucks last night, 115-92. 115-92. Milwaukee gets the win at home.
No Giannis, no Lillard. They still won by 23.
Stay alive in that series. And Indiana is one of those teams I looked at earlier in the season like, yeah, they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough. Not tough at all last night. How you lose by 23 points to a team that is missing their two best players is beyond me, but they managed to do it last night.
Now, real quick, before we skip by it, did you see what happened to the Knicks last night?
Yes.
They were up 6 with less than 30 seconds left in regulation.
It was inverse to what happened in Game 2.
And lost. Tyrese Maxey scores 46 points. Back-to-back threes in less than 10 seconds and got fouled taking one of those threes. I've never seen anything like that. I have in a closeout game, you're on your own home floor, you're up by 6 with 30 seconds left, and you lose. And the Sixers are playing, Embiid again playing on a leg and a half, and he's got the Bell's palsy diagnosis. He missed shoot around. He had a migraine earlier in the day, and Philadelphia still won the game. That's remarkable. And if I'm a Knicks fan, I'm more than a little worried that this happened to me.
Brunson's final shot attempt, I think, to win the game in regulation, that was nowhere near the mark, and it looks like just Philadelphia was playing some better defense down the stretch from the highlights that I saw, and I still like New York in this thing, obviously, but that Joel Embiid factor, just him being out there and being able at times to do whatever. He's got the size and the skill. He's, one of a handful of guys in the NBA who can, when he decides he wants to do it, he can do whatever he wants.
The other thing is, and Embiid had a triple-double last night, and he's not all the way there.
Right.
He's never, and that's the other thing, Fred, we've talked about this at length. He's never really quite all the way there.
No.
There's always something going on with him, and I think when you look back at Embiid's career, and he's on his way to the Hall of Fame because he's got the numbers, but I think history will show that, man, if Embiid had only been this, or if Embiid had only been healthy, or if he had taken it more seriously, there was arguments that he was out of shape for a couple of years there, and he just decided not to try at times. If he ever put it all together, and that's the guy who won the MVP last year. If he ever put it all together, how good would he have been? A triple-double when he's not healthy at all in a playoff game is remarkable. And the other thing is, you look at the Knicks, and we've said this before, Jalen Brunson scored 40 points last night. But if he doesn't make the play, if he doesn't take the shot, if he doesn't excel in those moments, the Knicks have no chance. Tom Thibodeau played 7 guys last night, and they lost because Brunson didn't come through. There are other guys on that team that are half decent, but it's Brunson or nothing.
And this is coming off of Brunson scoring 47 in Game 4.
Yeah.
So
set a new Knicks playoff record.
Yeah, you need him to be otherworldly, apparently, in order for them to beat this Sixers team. I don't think they'll have to be like that if they advance and go through the rest of the playoffs. You can't. It's no recipe for any kind of success. You're gonna depend on one guy to score 40 over 40 points. I got 40. Is that enough? No,
it's not.
No,
Sorry.
We needed that last bucket at the end.
You have to take 30. He took 32 shots. You got to take 32 shots last night.
And there's no excuse for Embiid because this is the guy. He's not. Embiid doesn't even have to be the best player on his team. Maxey made that shot from half court.
Yeah, if I'm a Sixers fan, Embiid frustrates the hell out of me.
Well, it does frustrate him, and Embiid says a bunch of stupid crap after games too. Like after the game in Philadelphia, he was like, "I've been here for 10 years," and he was pissed that there were so many Knicks fans at the game.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's just shut up. You're pissed that many Knicks fans were at the game. Well, what would you like everyone to do? Would you like them to come over? Would you like them to tithe you a percentage of their paycheck so they can go and support you more? You're upset that there's so many fans there. He knows what he's doing. I mean, he knows he's just riling them all up. Yeah, they've always been mixed about Embiid. And just like the Knicks fans cry about Embiid being dirty and cry about all this, and they would have him on their team in 10 seconds, which has always been the rumor that he wants to play in New York and he's going to end up there. That's always been the rumor. So the whole thing is ridiculous. Embiid in Philadelphia have like a codependent, dysfunctional relationship where they keep trying each other and keep pushing each other's buttons.
Yep.
And they're like, Embiid will tease them with, a 50-point game. And then he'll turn around and say that the crowd sucks. And then the crowd will, they'll pay him $50 million, and then they'll turn around and tell him that he sucks. So yeah, it's a dysfunctional relationship going on there.
More NHL scores from last night.
I'm not sure the league will let the Knicks lose this series, by the way. I'm not positive. The league is pumping out more like courtside celebrities at those games. I mean, there's people that I haven't even heard of.
Yeah.
At those games that they're showing. I mean, they are all in on this Knicks team. Like this Knicks, there's these narratives like this Knicks team is the most likable team in the NBA.
No,
and like
that's not true.
Like where? Who?
That's not true.
Who on this team? So who on this team besides Jalen Brunson am I supposed to know?
The league is not going to let it happen, friend.
Yeah. I didn't say it. I didn't make it up. Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett were saying how the league wants it to be the Celtics Knicks.
And this goes back to the mid-'80s. Remember the frozen envelope that David Stern picked out of the drum so Patrick Ewing would wind up in New York?
You don't think that happened?
Oh, I think
if the NBA had any sense, that's what happened.
Of course that's what happened. Oh, I believe that conspiracy theory wholeheartedly.
And if I was an owner in the NBA, I would be like, yep. Like, I mean, you'd have to give me some money. But at the end, like, if you pay me off, sure. You rig it any way you want to rig it.
Yeah, it wasn't a mistake Patrick Ewing wound up in New York.
No. New York had the least amount of chance to get him in the lottery, to get the first pick in the lottery, and they just miraculously wound up with him.
Yeah. Best player in the country. Here, take him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Biggest college basketball star. I mean, that was when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in Detroit, if you didn't know, and I pretended that was the.
Did you know Billy Jaffe back then?
No, but I had a feeling that I would one day. There was just a can-do kid at Michigan.
That's awesome.
I was 9 years old, and Billy was a freshman at Michigan, and I used to watch those Michigan hockey games, and I'd say, "Who is that?
Yeah.
Who's the Jewish kid?" Is what I would
one with
say.
a big ass.
No, just the Jewish kid. I'd say, "Who's the Jewish kid on the
Jewish
Michigan
kid
team?"
in Michigan.
Well,
Right.
not the Jewish kid at Michigan.
No,
then you'd be ruffling through tens of thousands.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm saying the Jewish kid on the hockey team at Michigan.
All right.
I don't know how many Jewish kids are on the hockey team.
Yeah.
quite
What
frankly.
are you counting, Fred? You keep a list.
If I needed to keep everyone safe, I would.
Oh.
Charlie Murphy came into the BCN studio once, and he was looking at the pictures on the wall. And we, for some reason, you remember we had a Seven Dust like promotional photo up on the wall, Fred?
Yeah, okay. I don't remember.
Okay.
But yeah.
So he was looking at LeJean Witherspoon, and he was like, but and Charlie Murphy said something like kind of funny, like, "Oh, you was a black guy in rock and roll. I didn't know there were any." I'm like, "Yeah, there's two actually." And he looked at me dead serious. He's like, "Oh, you keep count?" I said, "No, you kind of made a joke about a black guy fronting a rock and roll band, and then I made another joke." He's like, "Okay, who's the other one?" and I
Hootie.
I don't have a number. But.
Well, that's just, you got to go to the default that anyone in country music does now. There's no black people. There's no black people in country music. Hootie.
Yeah. Right.
Hootie.
Right.
Hootie's there. Darius Rucker.
Carolina able to finish things off against the Islanders, 6-3 to win. So
yeah, the other teams in the East, the Carolina won their series that they were up 3-1 in, and also you had Nashville lose.
Out west, Colorado was able to finish things off last night. Another 6-3 final over Winnipeg, and then Nashville. What?
Nashville?
Nashville 2-1 over Vancouver.
Yeah.
So Vancouver still has a 3-2 series lead.
So other teams were able to finish things up. The Bruins were not.
Couple. Yeah, sure.
All right. More thoughts on the Bruins, 617-779-0985. This is terribly, this is a series that is history repeating itself so far. I mean, like, legit, just it's history repeating itself. Same score in Game 5, same series lead. I mean, it's better than being down 3-2, I suppose. But if they don't win in Toronto, hachi machi, there's no way they're winning that Game 7. I can tell you that right now. They'll be too tight, and they can't win in playoff games at the Garden. So it's going to be it's going to be a disaster. And I'm just glad we're not on the air the next day, because I don't want to deal with that. But young Nicholas was out at the game last night, and whoa, did he have a night. But Nick will have those audio for you at 8 o'clock. He was getting stalked. The whole thing was happening. Well, he's very nervous this morning, but we will have audio of young Nicholas out there and so much more coming right up.
Toucher and Hardy. your sports in 98.5 The Sports Hub. A Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
Well, the Bruins missed a chance to put away Toronto last night at TD Garden. Trent Frederick scored early, but that's all the Bruins got for the night in a 2-1 loss in overtime to the Maple Leafs. Matthew Nyes scored 2:26 into OT to hand the visitors at least one more game. They now trail this best-of-7 first-round playoff series 3-2. Jim Montgomery's team, for whatever reason, did not have it last night.
We go in the game and we always try and evaluate our execution, our effort, and our emotion. Our execution was off. Our effort didn't match theirs.
Game 6 is back at Scotiabank Arena tomorrow night. Carolina finished off the Islanders in 5 6-3. Colorado took care of Winnipeg in 5 games 6-3. And it was Nashville 2, Vancouver 1 to push that series to a Game 6. The Celtics' Brad Stevens yesterday voted the NBA's Executive of the Year. The team that Stevens put together has a 3-1 lead in their best-of-7 playoff series with Miami. Game 5 is at TD Garden tonight. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 7 and the tip-off at 7:30 on the BetMGM 98.5 The Sports Hub Celtics Radio Network. Kristaps Porzingis has already been ruled out of this game. He's expected to miss multiple weeks moving forward, too, after straining the soleus muscle in his right calf. The Heat are expected to be minus Jimmy Butler, Terry Rozier, and Jaime Jaquez, and the Red Sox won their third in a row, 4-0 over San Francisco at Fenway Park. Robert F. Snyder, 2 RBIs, Cooper Criswell, and 4 relievers combined on a 4-hit shutout. This 3-game series continues tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Roto-Rooter. Plumbing problems? Call Roto-Rooter. That's the name, and away go troubles down the drain. 1-800-GET-ROTO. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
If you've got the app, you've got Toucher and Hardy to wake you up no matter where you are.
Or who may or may not have been to jail.
Get the app. The 98.5 The Sports Hub app.
They were just better. They came and they were willing to leave it all on the line tonight. We needed to be better than we were. It's that simple. They were prepared to play and start the game, and we weren't.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. During the first period of that game, I was getting antsy because the Bruins played so poorly. 617-779-0985. So I started reading the news, which I don't do very often, but I was bored on the account of the way the Bruins were playing. And, and then this morning they were showing it's anarchy at Columbia University. The kids have taken over this building and the police are arresting everyone. And then overnight there was riots at UCLA. And then the local news is Tufts kids. And there's 4 tents. And they're trying to make ooh, it's happening here too. It's happening in Medford. It's there's you're just showing tents.
Yeah, that thing at UCLA is no good, and you juxtapose that with 6 people standing out in the crowd.
What I'm telling you is that they showed New York City's got real riots going, UCLA's got real riots going, and they're but Massachusetts got a bunch of colleges too. Police have put a deadline on Tufts, and it's just 5 tents.
Yeah.
All right.
They preempted my Saturday morning Today show over the weekend because of the Northeastern protests being broken up. Oh, did that piss me off. I don't get my fix of warm porridge national network news anymore during the week, and I can only get it on Saturday mornings. So there I am, up early because sleeping in now means 6 a.m. like a frickin' loser. So I'm up for an hour, had the coffee, dog's been outside. I've already done a couple of chores for the day, and I'm settling in on the couch hours before the house is up, and I'm going to get my Today show, and instead I got to watch them, slowly and methodically moving kids out of some encampment at Northeastern. I'm like, come on, you preempt for this?
If you were at Mike Gorman's thing, you could have rubbed elbows with Harry Smith.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They're buddies.
And he is the Charles Osgood of our day.
Who's the other guy? Is he on the road with Charles Kuralt?
Yeah, Charles Kuralt is another one. Charles Kuralt's a stern-looking man, though.
There you go.
Osgood was just like a plump little slice of heaven. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Or Paul Harvey. Did you hear how we got to get to the Bruins thing? But did you hear how Stern when he was talking to this guy who had been on the radio in New York for 50 years? He was his 50th anniversary. He's like, "Who's the best you've ever seen, dude?" He's like, "Paul Harvey." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, yeah, he could talk. He knew exactly when it was time to stop. That's amazing.
Yeah, when the stopwatch went off and your syndicated segment had reached its time.
You knew exactly when it was time to stop.
The bar is so low in radio.
50 years later, this guy had no idea when it was time to stop.
I listened to a podcast about that. I guess his son was the one who was like responsible for writing all that stuff, I think.
Well, then he had the oldest son in the history of the world. He had a 90-year-old son his entire life.
I think his son took over the franchise.
Well, he failed. I mean, it's like whoever's riding the circus now. All right. Last night, by the way, we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch our show on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. Last night, the Bruins come out in the first period. Chance to put this whole thing away. Something that other teams can do when they're up 3-1 in a series. They're capable of winning at home. You have a team without their best player in Toronto. You have a team who had been arguing on the bench. You have a team whose own crowd had turned on them. You have a team that you have to reckon with the likes of this guy.
Time now for Matt's opening thought.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
I mean, it's really nothing more than a self-absorbed monologue for Matt to rant about something and pretend he's a serious radio personality instead of a gas bag.
So they got to deal with the likes of that gas bag.
Oh, man, he's going to...
How'd they let that happen?
He'll be taking his shots later today.
No, he's going to have to eat crow.
I was just going to say, what's he going to rant about today? All's well.
He's going to have to rant at himself for being a grade A phony.
Hot and cold. You know, you react. He does a daily show like the rest of us.
Yeah, well...
He can turn on a dime.
Well, he's got to rant. He's got to rant. He's got to rant at 3:30. He's got to be upset about something. So the Bruins come out, and they're absolutely just terrible. Just absolutely terrible. They get 2 shots in the first period. They score on one of them, so it's tied after one period.
And that was a gift. The fact that the puck just happened to bounce in front when Frederick happened to be standing there. But yes.
Which is the second goal for Frederick in these playoffs where I think he was surprised. Surprised that he either had the shot or that it went in.
This one was a legit goal, though. It just was a nice bounce for him to put in. But, the goal in the other goal that he had in this series, I think, he was just trying to put it on because there was no one else around, and he went, ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, that went
in.
Neat.
But, the goaltending, the second star of the game and third star of the game were both goaltenders in this game. And the Bruins, even though they only had 2 shots and they had 20% of puck possession, they still tied with hits, which is interesting considering that you would believe that if you were chasing the puck and you would be hitting more than the other team who has it on their sticks 80% of the time. But they managed even to fail in that category.
The good news to all of this, and I believe Andy Brickley said this during the game, the good news is all of what happened to them last night is easily fixable. I mean, he
said it after the first period, and they didn't really fix anything.
Well, I know they didn't do it, but it is possible. It's not.
Well, it's good to know it's possible.
It's not like they were outgunned. They're not outmanned. If the Bruins play their best and Toronto plays their best, the Bruins win. The problem is getting to that level, which they didn't do at all last night.
Yeah, that doesn't make me feel good at all. Like, I don't know. That doesn't, I mean, yeah, I guess they could fix it, but they didn't fix it.
It goes beyond line pairings and line combinations and D pairings.
Well,
Grizzly made that mistake at the end, but that wasn't the main problem during the game.
But they started to get a little bit more physical halfway through the second period, but still, nobody scored. The Bruins had a bunch of good chances. Wall was very good in net last night because he's a local kid.
Sure.
St. Louis, Missouri, by way of BC or BU, one of them two.
Spent summers in the Ozarks.
That's what we decided. And last night, Marchand was the very physical officiating last night. There's a video of Pasternak and McAvoy being roughed up and talked down to by one of the officials. And then, of course, Marchand with his BS penalty and then gets knocked down by an official, which none of us have ever seen outside of breaking up a scrum or a fight. An official tackle a player. And then if you watch the replay, Marchand tells the official to get the F off of him, and then he's going to throw a left cross at him. I really think that Marchand was about to smack him in the face with the gloved hand, which wouldn't have been good for anybody.
No, that would have been very, very bad. But I don't blame him in the moment because I think he already knew that he was going. Maybe he had already seen the signal or got an indication that he was going to be going to the box. And for what? He got held 2-3 times. There was one retaliation grab that Marchand had, and they were tied up after the face-off. I get that, but you don't go to the box for that. And I'm sorry, you do call things differently in the playoffs. So I question whether or not even Holmberg should have gone for what was going on. There was some holding going on, but if you're going to call that, you call Holmberg, and that's it.
Holmberg should have been penalized for the first part of it, and then they get up and action goes on, and then they tangle up again, and then you're right. In that instance, nothing happened.
Right.
So it was almost like they were like, let's get these guys separated. Something's going to happen. Let's penalize them both, which was imagine what the officials were thinking is that something's going to happen between these two. It's like someone's going to do something dirty. Let's break this thing up. And in the meantime, let's tackle Marchand, which has got to be embarrassing that that one of the dorky officials knocked you down. Like, you can't figure that those are the coolest guys at the Canadian school. I mean, they're pretty bad. I mean, you want to be like the guy who makes you follow the rules. Andrew, go ahead.
Hey, guys. First-time caller. Just wanted to say I think Matt Grzelcyk is getting a lot of the blame here. Not from you guys, from a lot of fans in general. I don't think the defense was the problem last night. There were some guys who were invisible, including Pavel Zacha, David Pastrnak. I really think Brad Marchand is the only one pulling up front. I think there are a lot of people to blame, and it's certainly not on the defense. I'll hang up and listen.
Zacha had a great play in that game, but he hasn't been scoring. Maroon, you can tell who the playoff performers are. Marchand, Maroon, like you can tell. And the defense wasn't good last night. The defense was bad. The defense couldn't get the puck out of their zone. In the first period, they were awful.
Couldn't get the puck, period.
They never possessed the puck. Like, the defense was not good last night, and Grzelcyk got pushed around on that game-winning goal. And when you get visibly pushed over and just manhandled, Tavares just, like almost an act of desperation, just puts his left shoulder down and just is like, I'm going to knock you into the goal. I'm going to literally skate you from the corner into the goal, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't stop me. That's going to raise some eyebrows. I mean, even I can see that happened.
You have to elevate, and I don't expect them to change their identity at this point in the season because the team wasn't built like this going back to Montgomery's first year. They don't have big blue liners that are going to stand guys up and stop them from getting into the zone in the first place. But you got to find something, and you have to increase your level of intensity or awareness or something. And yeah, Grzelcyk is going to get the finger pointed at him by me and a lot of other people for the game winner, for allowing Tavares easy entry, and then for, as Fred just said, getting pushed toward the goal and allowing that puck to end up out in front. Maybe unfair to Grzelcyk, maybe unfair to the defense. No, because the defense allowed too many things to happen last night.
So what changes do you make in the lineup? I'm not talking. Take the goaltender out of this. What changes do you make?
I wouldn't change goaltender, and then I wouldn't play Grzelcyk. I don't know if I'd play Lowry.
I didn't think Lowry was particularly bad.
I thought Lowry was pretty bad, and Lowry's been getting penalized a lot. I don't like. We'll ask Jaffe about it. I don't like Lowry. This whole thing, it was a very bad loss. Everything about it was bad. I don't tend to get overly negative about things in sports. But this I'll get very overly negative about. They came out, they're up 3-1 in a series. They're at home against a team without their best player, a team that has been arguing, a team that fan base has turned against them, a team that's country has turned against them, a team that fans are apparently going to the watch parties with Edmonton flags, so they just have something Canadian in their hands. And you had every opportunity to just come out. If they come out, they score a couple goals, it's over. They just skate around for the rest of the game, and it's over. Everything was against that Toronto team. You had to change goaltenders. Your best player is not playing. They had every right to come out flat and just get the season over with, fire the coach. It's all over. You're at home, and that's all you got to do. And you come out and you play. You couldn't have played worse in the first period. And you, by the skin of your teeth, got out of that first period tied. And you still can't turn around and take advantage. You go to overtime and you can't just get through the game. Other teams did yesterday. Why can't you? There's no reason as a Bruins fan that you think that this team's going to win this series. I don't think that there is. I really don't think that there is. Why should you think so? You should have no confidence. This is the exact same thing that happened last year. This is the exact same thing that happens all the time with this team.
I have supreme confidence, Fred.
Not just confidence, supreme confidence.
And I'll tell you why. You said everything about this loss was bad. Untrue. The goaltending was good.
Yeah, but
Swayman was good.
Swayman was very good, but so was the other goaltender.
Okay, so if you figure out a way to get Marchand and Pasternak and Zacha going offensively, I don't think you can change defensively how this team plays at this point. That's too late. But you can inspire those guys to put more shots in net starting in the first period tomorrow night. And you get them going, and you get.
Why wouldn't they be going in Game 5?
I don't know why they didn't go last night, but now they have to, and they will, and you're going to be fine.
There's no reason you should think that. There's absolutely no reason. That's not something that you should be legitimately thinking. Oh yeah. Sure, they came out flat, but now they're going to be inspired.
Yeah.
Do you really mean that?
Yeah.
No, you don't. Why would you even say that?
To wind you up. That's why he's doing it. It's working,
They're
too.
going to come out inspired next game. What the hell are you talking about?
I think Marchand's pissed off.
Are you there, little lady? Is that what you think's going to happen?
Yeah,
no, Marchand's angry now. Now we're fine.
Yeah, if the crowd comes out and cheers real hard.
You're going to be singing a different tune after when we come in here on Friday morning.
It might be nice if this team could take us to a second round and get us through a little bit of May.
Well,
instead of crapping themselves in the second round.
We will be talking about the second round come Friday morning.
All right. Well, I don't think that's the case.
We're previewing the Florida Panthers Friday morning? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, a little Panthers preview.
Okay. Let's get that play-by-play guy on.
You made a good. You did. In fairness, you made a good point. I mean, they'll watch the tape and get inspired.
Your point about everything
about this happening, the exact same thing last year. Yeah, that silly point with this same team, with the same players.
What happened last year has nothing to do with.
No, of course not. Same coach. Yeah, same coach, same players. Nothing to do with it.
Yeah, good. Your point about everything being bad was wrong. The goaltending was good. It'll be good again tomorrow night.
One thing, and it wasn't good enough. One thing.
What's the history on Wall? One game. You have one good game.
Good game, because we've already talked about this. I don't know what you're doing.
I can't wait. For them to score first on Wall tomorrow night. He's going to turn into a puddle.
Or Wall plays well in the first period, gains confidence, and he's a young goaltender that gets hot at the right time.
Well, then I'll change my mind. But at this point...
That's right. He's not hard and fast on this point. He's just confident in it for now.
And then he'll be super jazzed about Game 7 because they'll have 2 games to look at how poorly they played.
I don't know why you're getting so angry. You're predicting a loss. I'm predicting a win.
So if they lose
because you have no reason for predicting a win is what my issue is that your thing was you sounded like my mom.
Yeah.
Like I think the team will be good because
I enjoy talking to her. We should get her. You know what? Bring her on for a segment because I think she and I would be in lockstep on this team.
And frankly, Fred, you need some cheering up. So let's have your mom on.
Oh, and you're so confident, dumbass.
I'm not. I'm with you on this one. I think Hardy's out of his mind. After watching the way they played last night and seeing what happened to the exact same way, they lost in overtime in Game 5 last year in the same situation at home. And this last year's team was a better team than this year's team.
And tomorrow's a new day.
These are all great points.
Gosh, you're inspiring.
It is yeah. I mean, you're really making your case.
Thank you.
I can see that.
Well, just start to come around.
I suppose if the world ended tomorrow, that we wouldn't know what happened, or maybe it would just be whoever was left could play.
Well, I'm not going to hope for that. You want the world to end, Fred?
No, I don't. But I'm saying if it did end, I suppose, because you said there would be another day. And we have every reason to think that this team will come out hot dog inspired. They won't be able to get enough of watching the tape.
I've been right on this team many, many times before. I predicted the sweep.
I
predicted the sweep of the Penguins. I predicted the win over Vancouver after they were down 2-0
So you just pick them to win
2011?
every series.
No.
And then if they win, you're right, and if they lose, they're wrong.
Absolutely not. I've been
when have
right
you predicted them to lose and been right?
I can't recall any right now. But
very good. But you can predict the winning ones. So you predict them to win every series, and that's when you win. You get everyone all fired up.
Admittedly,
film.
my analysis tends to have a positive bias.
I don't know why, in particular, this team would generate any positivity from you. Again, I'm not sitting here saying the Celtics are going to lose to the Heat or the Celtics losing the Game 2 against the Heat. We didn't come on the air and say this is a disaster.
Right.
We didn't come out after Game 2 of this series and say it was a disaster. Last night was as close to a disaster as you can have. It was very bad. And they almost just been able to crap themselves and salvage it by going into overtime, but they couldn't even manage to do that. And now momentum is completely shifted. The whole narrative has changed. And by the way, Toronto just gets their best player with 69 goals back.
Game-to-game momentum is wildly overrated. Momentum within a game, yes. But with a day off and now you're going to stop it. There's no momentum. It's a new game tomorrow.
All I know is that they're going to be playing in front of a rejuvenated home crowd, that they're getting their best player back, and those are two things that cannot be argued. I mean, you're being the anti-gas bag right now. All right, 617-779-0985. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the
Bruins history repeating themselves. Young Nicholas was at the game yesterday. Perhaps he will...
Let's face it, he stole this idea from Dennis Miller.
No, I don't want to get off on a rant here.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Toronto's bigger than Boston. There you go. Jeez. Toronto's a bigger town than Boston.
That is a major market, Toronto. Where would it rank versus like U.S. market?
I think it would be fifth. I think it would be ahead of San Francisco, behind Chicago.
Wow.
And that's what happens when you give government control of everything, is you get that kind of crap. Sam, go ahead.
Fred, I'm with you 100,000,000,000%. This team, excluding the 2011 season, are the biggest bunch of chokers I've ever seen. I didn't even watch the game last night because I knew they were going to lose. I didn't even give myself I didn't even want to have the stress of watching that game. So I don't know what Hardy's like doing. He's just like out in the clouds, all optimistic as everything, and I'm over here realistic, saying that I knew they were going to lose last night, and now they're tight whenever they get to 3-1. So now that they're at 3-2, they're still going to lose this series. I just know it's going to happen.
Well, if they lose Game 6, they might have a chance to win in Toronto. If they lose Game 6, it's over because there's no way they're winning Game 7 at home, and that's not being overly negative. I dare you to bet Boston straight up even in that game, because that's a fool's bet. There's no way. By the way, there's no way the Knicks win in Philadelphia. There's no way that that Boston wins Game 7.
Ooh.
So these are things I know. And by the way, you did yourself a favor not watching the game yesterday, because I defy anyone who was watching that on TV at home to have not picked up another implement of entertainment at some point during that first period to distract yourself from what you were watching. And it's the worst kind of Bruins team. Like that disgust of like just not caring. Like that, me, like if you're not going to try, like why am I watching this? Like how is this?
Wasn't just the first period. It was probably the first 45 or 50 minutes.
Well, until
I'm sorry, not 45.
They finally got physical halfway through the second period, and they started, and it was Maroon really that got it going.
Yeah.
And they finally got like a little physical, and they finally had a shift where they had some puck possession in the second period. So we're talking about a period and a half where, like, even for just the rhythm of the game, to have some sort of rhythm to the game.
A shift where they look normal.
A shift
was
where
about
the poor crowd.
9 minutes left in the second period.
And that crowd's got to sit there. All they want to do is just see this team move on. It's more of a relief than anything else, because then you can start really rooting for them. Because they get to the second round, now something's on the line. Now you're playing a Florida team who might be better than you. So this is that's a series where edge of your seat. This is a series where, again, Toronto didn't have their best player. The whole fan base was against them. Their coach is about to be fired. They lose last night, their coach is fired. There's no reason. They're all set in their contracts. The whole talk in Toronto is about how there's no changing this team, that we're stuck this way. This is the end of the Maple Leafs. This is the end of this Maple Leafs team. It's all downhill from here. They missed their opportunity, so on and so forth. And you come out, and it's inexplicable how you come out like that. You score the first goal in that game, and that game is over. Toronto is sleepwalking through the rest of that thing, and it's over. But you come out, not only do they score, but you come out so flat. Even if you came out and were physical to begin things, you might have been able to just frustrate him and just get him to quit.
I feel so bad for Jeremy Swayman. I mean, the reason the Bruins weren't down 3-0 after the first period is solely because of that kid. He's been so good. I mean, he's taken that next step forward. This is why we wanted the Bruins to trade Linus Ullmark. This kid is, not only is he doing it, he's doing it in the playoffs, which is when it really matters.
He's doing it well.
And if he's able to do it again tomorrow night, I like him in that versus Wall, who's going to be, making his second big start. And
of course I like Swayman over Wall, but
so there you go.
But
you
then
get
again,
one past Wall early, and I think
that has to happen.
Toronto turns into a puddle again.
Well, they're not going to get one past Wall early, because if they show any of the same.
Are you sure they won't come out just as flat as they did last night?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's
why are you sure they won't be flat as a pancake like they were?
They were
last
flat
night?
last night. They were flat in the series last year. What makes you think that there's really no evidence? It's almost like, you know how sometimes we can be overly negative? That's like really overly positive.
Why is that?
Fred had somebody that he went to immediately on the phones to back up his point. I don't have control of the phone, so I have to go to the emails. So I will allow Kevin to help me make my point. Hardy, IDK, how you wake up every morning knowing you have to deal with that miserable negative slob Fred, who raises his voice when he doesn't agree with something like a child. Go Bruins. Thank you, Kevin. Now that's the type of hockey point that needs to be made here.
He's firing lyrical bullets at you, sir.
He has inflection to his voice on the radio.
We don't need that.
And allow me to reiterate. It's like, what do you think that? What do you think that? Allow me to quote Kevin once again. Go Bruins.
You need to be Canadian, Fred, in your delivery. That's the difference.
It's all about ASMR nowadays. John, go ahead. If he raises his voice when he's arguing.
Here's the deal. This is my beef. Something we can't control right before the game starts is the lineup. I don't know why we threw DeBrusque on the first line. I don't know why we put Brazeau and messed up the whole fourth line that we had going. Danton, Heinen on the third line. When has Danton, Heinen, Zacha, and Pasternak never worked? Also, when has Matt Grzelcyk been in the lineup and we were like, oh, look at this guy. He's really doing something for us. No, Kevin Shattenkirk has been, actually pretty solid for us.
Yeah, there was a head fake, too, by Montgomery yesterday. It looked like it was going to be different. The lineup was going to be different.
Looks like it was going to be Forbort, and then an hour later, then it was going to be Grzelcyk. He was playing games.
And there's a bit of a difference between Forbort and Grzelcyk in size.
Maybe, and after seeing what happened to Grzelcyk last night, maybe we see Forbort tomorrow night.
I would hope so, because against this team, you would just I want size. I want them to impose their physical will on them.
The other thing is face-offs. And Zacha could not have been worse for long stretches of time. John Beecher, a guy who was very good.
Oh, the face-offs? Oh, that's another thing. Thank you for bringing that up, because I forgot about that. Yeah, they lost 99% of the face-offs.
Beecher, a guy who was good in the dot 2 games ago, did not play last night.
I think Domi won 10 of his first. I think I know that Domi won 10 of his first 11 face-offs.
He was 12 for 14.
Yeah, 12 for 14 on face-offs. So that's another thing. Thank you for reminding me. That's another thing. And I would imagine that's not entirely skill. That there is some sort of I don't think Domi is the best. He might be the great face-off man of the league, but I don't think he's the greatest to ever lived.
Zacha
I don't think it's impossible to beat Domi in a face-off circle.
Zacha lost 13 of 17.
Yeah, that's got to be a bit of an effort issue. It seems to me that clanging sticks together might be a little bit of wanting it more. And positioning your body in such a way to not let the puck by you might be a little bit of effort. I don't mean to raise my voice.
Like a child.
I mean, how many times have a program tried to come into you and they said, enough. Enough with the passion.
That's what the consultants do.
Enough with the... Can you please put your foot a little more on the brake? And could you please a little more
Hey,
team?
Relax.
That's...
Calm down.
Don't get all caught up in the... And it sucks because I can see May just going... And then you got the dumb Celtics-Cleveland series that's going to be a joke, and then you're waiting until the Eastern Conference Finals for anything to happen. I mean, it would be nice if the Bruins could take us through May at one time.
You want me to show you that I'm not a total lunatic?
Yes.
They lose Game 6 tomorrow night. Forget it. Don't even watch Game 7. No chance. No chance to win that, even though it's back at the Garden. Forget it.
Oh, they're
it's
terrible
over.
at the Garden.
Yeah. Series is done if Toronto ties this thing up tomorrow night. Furthermore, Florida, I hate that matchup.
Yeah.
Hate it, because they play physically all year long. We're talking about the Bruins trying to find something defensively. I don't know if they can't. Doesn't matter. Even if they did, whatever they would be able to do differently with more physical play and to make things uncomfortable for Florida, you'd be doing it for essentially the first time all year, and Florida plays like that all the time.
Yeah, they wore him down last year. And the thing is about the Florida series, if the Bruins win that series, then you got a story. Now you got some juice. Like, that's a series, like, because, again, I don't like them in that series either. But in this Toronto series, up 3-1 at home against a team without their best player, again, like, you couldn't have played worse. It's really very frustrating. And look, could they win Game 6? Absolutely. But I'm with you. If they lose Game 6, there's no way that they're going to win Game 7. No way they're going to win Game 7 at home. And the sad thing is Toronto knows it. So hopefully Toronto gets tight at home and goes back to the way they played in Game 4. I mean, that's obviously a possibility. But I hope you didn't give them some kind of confidence, because that place, I mean, as much as it can be with $20,000 tickets, legitimately $20,000 tickets, it's going to be probably about as alive as it can be. And there might be really a $20,000 price tag to get into some of those seats.
Someone else here helping me prove my point. Fred's a gas bag.
Instead of a gas bag.
That's right.
Did someone really write that?
Well, it was a YouTube comment.
Oh, you're I've done that before. Just filtering stuff until you find something. I've done that.
Here's another one. Fred is a living fart. What do you think of that?
Now, that's real. You know that someone actually wrote that.
Well, I don't like it at all. You're asking how I like it. I think you know how that makes me feel. About 1 inch tall.
There are hundreds of people chomping at the bit to get at you.
And they just succeeded. Congratulations. Oof. All right, maybe.
You want to have some fun?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to have some fun.
All right,
we're going to change things up to something completely different, completely unrelated to the Bruins, or the Celtics, or anything else.
All right.
All right.
I'm looking forward to it. Okay. All right, we'll be right back.
Sports Hub headlines.
Matthew Nyes scored 2:26 into overtime, and Toronto beat the Bruins last night 2-1 at TD Garden. As a result, this best-of-7 series is headed back to Toronto for Game 6. That's tomorrow evening. Bruins still lead the best-of-7, 3-2. Celtics center Kristaps Porzingis has been diagnosed with a strain of the soleus muscle below his right calf. He's already been ruled out of the team's next game, which is tonight at TD Garden against Miami. This is Game 5 of that first-round playoff series. Celtics lead at 3-1. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 7 and the tip-off at 7:30. Here on the BetMGM 98.5, the Sports Hub Celtics Radio Network. The Heat will be without Jimmy Butler, Terry Rozier, and Jaime Jaquez. Celtics president of basketball operations Brad Stevens was yesterday voted the NBA's Basketball Executive of the Year, and the Red Sox shut out the San Francisco Giants yesterday 4-0 at Fenway Park. The two teams back at it in the same building this evening. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by WellPoint, formerly Unicare. They've teamed with Charlie Coyle, Mass State and local police, the professional firefighters of Mass and Bruins Radio for face-offs for first responders. If you or a loved one are thinking about suicide, get free and confidential help 24/7 on the Lifeline Network. Just text or call 988 now. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8 o'clock.
98.5 The Sports Hub. We're Toucher and Rich. Or Toucher and Hardy, sorry. We're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. My bad. What's going on here, my friend?
Well, there is an idea that is being implemented at an establishment I enjoy very much that I think is a terrible idea that is going to be embraced and is going to it's going to cause all kinds of problems for me and I think a lot of other people. Restaurant and arcade chain Dave & Buster's will soon allow its customers to make wagers on its popular games. You will soon be able to place a $5 bet on the Dave & Buster's mobile app on their Hot Shots basketball game, skee ball, and other arcade games. So, as you go into Dave & Buster's, which I often do, my son and I will go there, just the two of us. It's great. Play the games, and I'll drop more money at Dave & Buster's than I will sometimes, I feel like, in a casino. I'm like, yep, let's charge up that Dave & Buster's card. Let's just go nuts. Let's you and I eat some food. I enjoy the food at Dave & Buster's. That is my menu.
The one in Natick is very good.
Oh, my God. Wallach, you go, and now do you go in the upstairs near the food court? Is that
Upstairs,
where you go?
right next to the food court, right next to level 99, right there. Yeah.
I know it well. I'll go to the one in Braintree. I'll head over there. Sometimes we'll make a day of it. Hey, let's go down to Golfer's Warehouse, and on the way back, we'll stop by Dave & Buster's. Oh,
Golfer's Warehouse. Now we're cooking.
That
with gas.
is
It's the PGA Tour store, but same thing.
That is a father-son outing, which I enjoy very, very much.
I will take. I've gone to the Dave & Buster's at the Natick Mall, and I'm very well aware of that level 99 because it's a siren song to my son.
Mine too.
He does not. He's like, let's go to level 99. No.
My two kids always want to go in
like
there.
Once you're in there, it seems like you're in there for a couple hours, and that's not on the menu for today.
But I often get into these competitions with my kids, whether it's ping pong, whether it's throwing a frisbee out in the yard. You know, we love to
Who can
toss
throw up
the
the
disc.
fastest after dinner?
Yeah.
Who can stay the lightest? Who can lose the most weight?
That's right.
They just keep a full-size picture of Kate Moss and see who can get there first. Steven Tyler and Kate Moss.
Who can stick their head next to the exhaust pipe the longest?
Oh,
fun game.
How dare you?
Right. No,
Who can drink the most bleach?
I get into these betting things with my kids, and it's like I don't know why. For whatever reason, it just always goes there with me. It's like, you know what? If you can catch this one, I'll give you $20. Why? I don't know. To keep my interest level up, to keep their interest level up. But now you're going to put in wagering, one of the few wholesome things I have left between me and my son, which is a trip to Dave & Buster's, and I know I'm going to do it, and I think it has a chance to ruin things because I have to win. I have to win.
Papa Shot will never be the same.
It's just
Wait, so you're gambling against the person you're going there with?
Well, you're just gambling in general. Now, this particular app, I guess, that you use it on, it's real money wagering is how they've.
Yeah, but who am I wagering money with? Am I wagering money against the people I'm there with, so we're just cycling money between us, or am I wagering against the house?
Well, it's all my money.
If it's an over-under situation on a Papa Shot, now we're talking. Because I'll take my son in the over on Papa Shot every time.
See, that's the thing. That's what I understood it to be. I don't know, but based on what he's explaining.
Because, if you break the record on Papa Shot, which my family has done on several occasions.
Really?
Several occasions. You get to that amusements in Newport early enough. There's very reasonable high score on that thing. But that would be ingenious, actually. Because you open up in the morning and the high score is say 0, or they set it at 10. Mm-hmm. And so throughout the day, it gradually gets more competitive. And as people drink more during the day, they're more likely to gamble against it. That's actually a genius idea. First of all, you get customers in first thing in the morning. Because if you set a $20 limit, so you lose $20, but people are going to spend $1 million on Papa Shot, and then and just as it moves up, it's a natural line. As it moves up, that's what you have to beat in order to get the money. I like that idea.
Okay,
I just created a great idea, but Dave & Buster's, you're welcome.
Well, there are a couple of things that might save this in terms of my relationship with my family. And you do have to be 18. They're using Lucra, which is a platform that already has more than 50,000 active players on their peer-to-peer recreational wagering platform. So I remember when this started up before mobile sports betting was a thing. There's like, here's this thing where you can bet with your friends, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. You're not really betting, but of course you're betting. As long as that, and this
Why would I need to get someone else involved? And why would I not want to make a cash transaction with those people?
Well, because people don't carry cash anymore.
Yeah, but so you want the government following every move you make?
Yeah, I
and
don't
then
mind it.
you're playing a vig to the company. I mean, there's got to be something you're doing. So there's an artificial vig in it. Like, no, why would you? You're that lazy. You're that dependent on the phone that you can't even bet between your friends.
Artificial vig. That's another good band name. I'm writing that one down.
You're welcome.
The answer to your question is yes.
That's it. So you just need the phone for everything.
Yep.
You can't even go like, I bet you $5 on this thing.
Why do you think that Dave & Buster's is doing this? Of course.
Well, initially I thought they were doing it because you'd be able to wager points that you accrue on your card, which is the one thing I do not enjoy about Dave & Buster's, because the kids still want to go in and redeem their points when you're done.
There's nothing worthwhile to redeem your points on, though.
Well,
There's like nothing good. It's all crap.
Those gigantic stuffed animals are a delight.
No, you get enough of them, and the dog eats them, and the kids don't even care. Go ahead.
The last time I think we got anything that I was somewhat excited about was like one of those moon balls, like a super ball.
Yep.
And we take it out in the parking lot and bounce it once, and all of a sudden it's going out into traffic. I'm like, please don't chase that across Route 9. No, don't do that.
I
Leave
told
that
you,
alone.
but I can't believe if I haven't, because it's a humdinger of a story. We won the model airplane, and I took it out to Newton High, and it just landed on the roof. It took off and went right onto the roof.
How long was the flight?
It took off and went right on the roof.
8 seconds?
That's a bold 8 seconds. The over-under is 5 seconds if you want to get back. We can get the app.
Oh, look, a loop-de-loop. It went once.
Oh, no. It didn't do any loop-de-loops. It took off from the parking lot and landed on the roof. It went in a direct line. I got it to take off the ground.
Yeah.
And then it went straight and onto the roof, and then it was done. But my kids accrued point. The worst thing that happened with all that stuff, and maybe the best thing, because they don't really want to go anymore, is my kids used to always bug me. They're getting older too, but they used to always bug me to go to that National Amusements in Newport.
Right.
National Amusements. It was like the carrot you dangled to get them to behave. And we would just accrue all these points over the years, and finally we had like some obscene amount of points, like probably $2,000 worth of points, $2,000 of games, like over the course of years. And they went in and they could have gotten as much of anything really as they wanted, and they realized it's all garbage. Like they didn't have anything like a PlayStation or anything like something like maybe Dave & Buster's does.
Yeah, if you get like 100,000 points. You
Yeah,
can get
they didn't
real
have
stuff.
anything like that. It was like a garbage, like that the beanbag cornhole game. Like it was like it's a cornhole but worse, or it's pool but worse, or it's like like everything was just
tiny. We went
It's tiny pool table.
Tiny little pool table.
Yeah, it's like ping pong. Like how sometimes you think it'd be fun to have a ping pong table. Imagine like a real bad one.
Yeah.
Like so they realized then, oh, no matter what we do, it's always just gonna be garbage that we're getting. So what's the point? Which is really a good lesson to learn in life.
Or then they want candy. They still have like the suckers and all this
But
stuff.
it's but if you have 100,000 points and a lollipop is 2 points, what do you want? 2,000 lollipops?
No, you really don't. You don't want anything. I don't want to go in that store. I don't want to go in there. I want to go there. I want to play some games, sit down, eat. Maybe play a few more games, to try and time it out so we're back at the table when the food is there. Eat, a few more games, leave. Never go in the store.
It's a bold statement. You're eating the Dave & Buster's. Good for you.
Oh, I like it.
We get the chicken Alfredo. Big fan.
No, they have a duck l'orange, which you would not every day, and you got to order ahead. But if you do, you will not be disappointed.
The lobster thermidor, you do have to order ahead because you could be there all day.
Well, sometimes, obviously, sometimes we'll just go there and get like a sweet treat, and we'll get like baked Alaska. But you have to order it as soon as you get there.
That takes a while to prepare. That takes a long time.
Yeah, it's a traditional menu, Anthony Bourdain inspired. All right, we'll be back. Young Nicholas, who's so sick, risked it all and went out to the Bruins game last night, and he brought us back some audio.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way on the Sports Hub.
Golf fans, bring your friends and family to the FM Global Championship August 29th through September 1st. TPC Boston, see the top LPGA golfers in the world.
WBCFM 91 bus from the Town Fair Tire Studio, the home of the Bruins, Patriots, Revs, and Celtics.
Come on, Maxi, step back. 3 is good.
Boston's home for sports is 98.5, the Sports Hub. A Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
Well, Toronto was down Austin Matthews, but they still came into TD Garden and kept their season alive. Austin Matthews sat out with an illness, and the Bruins still couldn't beat the Maple Leafs. They lost 2-1 in overtime last night. Matthew Nyes scored the game winner at 2:26 of extra time, and it ruined a great night for Jeremy Swayman, who kept his team in the game by himself for much of the first two periods. He made 31 saves in all. Brad Marchand wants to put this one behind him quickly.
You know, unfortunately, we never really kind of got it together throughout the game. There's a lot of opportunities, but, you know, it's on to the next one.
Joseph Wall made 27 saves for the winners, and now the Bruins lead in this best of 7 is 3-2. Game 6 is up in Toronto tomorrow night. Vancouver also had home ice up 3-1 and lost 2-1 to Nashville. Elsewhere, Carolina finished off the Islanders in 5 games 6-3, and Colorado took care of Winnipeg in 5, also 6-3. The Celtics entertain Miami at TD Garden tonight, leading that first-round playoff series 3-1. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 7 and the tip-off at 7:30 on the BetMGM 98.5 The Sports Hub Celtics Radio Network. Kristaps Porzingis is out for tonight and for the near future. He's been diagnosed with a soleus muscle strain in his right calf. The Heat are expected to be minus Jimmy Butler, Terry Rozier, and Jaime Jaquez. Celtics president of basketball operations, Brad Stevens, was yesterday voted the NBA's Executive of the Year. And in baseball news, the Red Sox scored a 4-0 win over San Francisco at Fenway Park. They're now 17-13. They play the Giants again this evening. Sports Hub headlines are proudly brought to you by Premier Basement Waterproofing. Buying a home or finishing your basement this spring? Call the best, the Guru Mike Albert, and get it waterproofed first. 844-LIVE-DRY or premierbasement.net. It's game over for water. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Marchand back of the net. Shoots, he scores!
This is
Brad Marchand.
Every Bruins game on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Now, more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. Our show is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel, and you can watch us every morning on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe to keep up to date with all the best moments for Boston's Home for Sports. Young Nicholas was out at the Bruins game last night as the crowd had to sit through that. And I felt bad for the crowd because I don't know how for the first period and a half. I mean, there was nothing. They tried. There was even chance I didn't know what they were saying. There were chances where I was looking at Twitter, but there was no one actively that I followed tweeting about the game. Not even Ryan Johnson was that active. And Michael Hurley put out stuff that was informative, but nothing about what the crowd was saying. But here is young Nicholas. He can't get enough. He's out despite his heart valve and his stalking going on. He was out there. He was being stalked. Don't look at me like you don't know what I'm talking about. He was out there, and here is young Nikolai in his heart valve.
Clicking away
and his rump swishing away as he waddled down the Causeway Street.
Ain't no stiff breeze going to blow that guy over.
No, he's firm. And don't try it. All right, here is young Nicholas.
Can we use this for the radio?
Heck yeah, man.
All right, talk to me about...
Thank you for keeping it Christian.
Can we use this for the radio?
Heck yeah, man.
All right, talk to me about tonight's game, man.
Tonight we won. It was too easy. Bruins fans are sad. They're all walking to their cars drunk and sad, as always. We won. Comeback season. You can't win if you don't cheat, and we know they're cheating, so they're not going to win any more of the series.
All right. Well, that is a Toronto fan, obviously.
Wow, going a little off script here. They're picking up.
Time now for Matt's opening thought.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Here we go. I mean, it's really nothing more than a self-absorbed monologue for Matt to rant about something and pretend he's a serious radio personality instead of a gas bag.
Oh, Canadians they can't do anger right.
They can't swear.
You can't come to Boston and pretend to be angry. Heck yeah, I'll do it.
Heck yeah.
And everyone cheats. You know, they're a bunch of cheaters.
That's right.
Okie dokie.
Oakley dokley. Give me some sort of music of some sort, like maybe the Canadian national anthem or something.
Oh, yeah.
Because
some safe Christian rock song.
Yeah, like Creed or something, or no. Play
Bare Naked Ladies.
Bare Naked Ladies.
If I had $1 million.
If I had $1 million, please.
Perfect.
Pull that up. Because this
Heck
is
yeah.
Heck yeah, you can use it because I'm a proud Maple Leafs
They're
fan.
a bunch of dirty cheaters.
That is the pain Toronto was built to inflict.
It's all fun at the end of the day. Don't come to Boston and try to do that. Ugh.
Yeah. Got him.
Heck yeah, you can use it. What do you got? Yeah, I'm just joshing you.
Can we use this for the radio?
Heck yeah, man.
All right, talk to me about tonight's game, man.
Tonight we won. It was too easy. Bruins fans are sad. They're all walking to their cars drunk and sad, as always.
That's true. They are drunk and sad.
As always.
As always. I mean, the game's over. Win or lose.
I mean, we'll stop him when he's wrong.
I mean, he is, but you know, I gotta think if you go into a Toronto game, they're really the worst. And they're nice. The thing is, they're nice,
except for the one guy who got all coked up.
Yeah, but he's the nicest one. Like someone said, like, oh, hey, they call you the heroin guy on this station in Boston. He goes, that's a shame. I checked him out, and I thought we'd be friends. That's literally what he said.
Oh.
And then you're like, oh, come on,
man.
And he's not even the worst one in the group. Like, the other singer guy is the worst, the biggest nerd of them all. Hold it now and watch me hoodwink. You got to live with that for the rest of your life.
All right, talk to me about tonight's game, man.
Tonight we won. It was too easy. Bruins fans are sad. They're all walking to their cars drunk and sad, as always. We won. Comeback season. You can't win if you don't cheat, and we know they're cheating, so they're not going to win any more of the series.
Wait, how are they cheating?
I don't know if you've been watching the same hockey I've been watching. Number one, Toronto. Hey, you, buddy. Anyways.
Oh.
Yeah, some signs of life.
Because he knows if you swear on Canadian radio, there's price to pay. The government comes out with a butterfly net.
Instead of a gas bag.
Toronto has real man Canada hockey. This is that American bullshit. It's all for theater.
First of all, you said theater. And second of all, we're all American.
Oh.
If you were really Canadian, you would say we're all American. We're all in North America.
That's right.
That was very and then you went theater. Mm-hmm. I don't hear any kind of hosiery accent. I'm calling your credentials.
Interesting. Toronto has real man Canada hockey. This is that American bullshit. It's all for theater. It's all theatrical. They stage everything. But then when we come in their house and win, it's, oh, you guys got lucky. Wait till we come. Nah. They stage it all. The refs are in their favor. The Bruins still suck.
I saw you talking about your jaw earlier.
You see this?
I don't know who the you are.
You see
Clearly
this?
you're Instagram famous because you got a camera following you around.
YouTube, actually.
I don't know who the you
Oh,
are.
I got an idea. Why don't you interview him?
Yeah, why don't you interview me?
Yeah,
All right.
All right, so this is a drunk Bruins fan coming up to the Maple Leaf fan. Now, Nicholas, come to a microphone, Nicholas. Nicholas! Come to a microphone. Nicholas, okay, he'll be there in a couple minutes. Give him time to get there. He had to go 5 feet. Nicholas, so yes. This is a YouTube guy? He's got like a camera on him?
Yeah.
Okay.
A Toronto guy.
Yes.
A Toronto YouTuber. So the idea is that he was going to like start stuff with Bruins fans and that they were going to tape it and he was going to put it up there?
I guess so, yes.
But he said, heck yeah, because he knew if you're going to get on the CBC, there will be no swearing. All right, and so a drunk Bruins fan comes up to him and he wants to interview him.
Yes, he did.
Okay,
Yep.
Here we go.
First off, what's your name?
My name is Mitch.
Mitch. Can we use this for the radio?
Absolutely.
All right, go ahead.
Are you from
Here's
Toronto?
my phone.
No,
I'm
he's
from
Boston.
Okay, where are you from? You're
the
from
winning
Toronto?
team. What did the scoreboard say?
I'm not going to break your jaw again. Someone break your jaw. I don't know who you are, but...
This is made of steel, buddy.
I know, but you talked about it earlier today. You had a nice little camera crew following you around. That's
Cameraman, not
Forget
camera
about the
crew.
camera crew.
I'm
Just
not
talk
talking
about
shit.
the
Are
game.
you wasting my time or are you going to, interview me?
Oh, this YouTuber is not. I'm not believing him at all. My money's on the drunk guy from Boston. There is this. How old's this guy, Nicholas? Is he in his early 20s? Mid-20s. There's this entitlement, like, I'm on camera, you can't do anything to me, which I think the haze of a Bruins loss and alcohol can overcome. Because usually if you're out and about, like, there is this millennial kind of freedom, like, I'm being filmed. Like, whenever anyone happens, like, I'm filming you. Like, you can't do anything, I'm filming you.
Right.
This will go viral, I'm filming you.
And if you are a YouTuber and you spend a lot of time on YouTube, you should know that just having a camera there doesn't mean you're not going to get hit.
Yeah, and is it real? Like a 1 in a million chance you go viral if the guy breaks your jaw? Like you're sucking out of a straw every meal. I mean, having a broken jaw sucks, like really bad. And like the chances of that going viral are not high. Like it's usually just you got punched in the jaw, and then the guy just disappears into the crowd.
Yeah.
So there's not even an arrest. And if you're going to come back down to Canada to like go to trial against the guy for hitting you in the jaw. My money's on the drunk Boston fan in that point.
All right, talk about the game. Swayman, y'all passed up on him. You had 110 draft pick 5 years ago. Y'all took some bum-ass goaltender who
But who won? Who won?
You asked me.
Swayman still sucks. 2-1, you guys suck.
Go ahead. I mean, I don't want violence.
We call that a freebie. Want to
That shit was too easy.
We want to tear the hearts out of Toronto
Hey, I'm the case.
by winning it in
You
Toronto.
can say whatever you want.
All right, this guy's wasting my time. I'm sorry, radio. It was nice
Wasting your time
chatting
because
with
I'm not
y'all.
going to punch you in the face?
No, it's because you're just speaking bull. But anyways, have a good night, man. Hey, it was nice
if you
chatting
could,
with
you want to spit on the left side or the right
hold
side?
on. If you could say anything to the Boston Bruins, what would it be?
Good luck in Toronto.
He would say he can't even afford numbers and a name on the back of the jersey.
No,
So you know what?
no.
Yeah,
no.
turn around.
I mean, no. He's
Where's
right.
the name? Where's the number? He can't even
Whoa.
afford it.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me. What are you going to do?
Anyways.
You can't afford a name and a number.
Yeah, like, what are you going to do? Don't touch me. Don't touch me, I'm filming. Don't touch me, I'm filming. Don't touch me. You can't touch me, I'm filming. I can do whatever I want to do you. I can bait you and bait you and bait you, and there's nothing you can do because I'm filming you. And yeah, what big YouTube channel, you can't even get a real jersey? It's like one of those, like, it's not even a sweater. It's like a vinyl one. It's one that you got it like at the Tim Horton giveaway.
He would say he can't even afford numbers.
No, I would never have another man's name on my back because I'm straight.
What? All right,
He's a homophobe.
Well, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, really.
So then why are you flying down here 3 hours?
Because we just won.
Because. What are
Sheesh,
you
the
doing?
hostility here is crazy, Boston.
It is crazy.
Sheesh.
It
I
is
remember
crazy.
my first beer.
Really?
Oh, he's a professional comic.
You want a second one?
I gotta go. It's nice talking to you guys. Appreciate it, man.
You.
I remember my first beer.
All right, please give me some bare naked ladies here, if you could, to get us out of here. God, all right, fine, enough.
It's been 1 week to look
All right, yes.
I have an email here from Ryan. Ryan insists that kid Nick interviewed is not from Toronto or a Leafs fan. His whole channel is going to games, being a fan of the opposing team, and giving people crap. And I have the Instagram handle here. I haven't looked.
How many followers does he have? Because he is no comic. I remember my first beer.
Yeah. That's
He's
like,
156,000
that's like
followers.
Steve Martin from 1977.
And he won't invest in a real sweater.
No, I would never have another man's name on my back because I'm straight.
Uh-huh.
What is the price point of 178,000 followers on Instagram? Making 10 grand a year? Good for him. Cover your expenses.
Heck yeah, man.
All right, very good. We will be back in just a moment. The great Mike Gorman is going to join us.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, Cat's Eye. All right, so we are Toucher and Hardy, still working on Michael Gorman, which has been an issue before with the phones.
This could be a very emotional night for him.
If someone texts you and they say rabbit, rabbit, what does that mean?
It's the first day of the month. You're supposed to say rabbit. The first word out of your mouth today should be the word rabbit.
Why?
And you will have good luck for the rest of the month.
Oh.
I don't know. My mom taught me that when I was a kid. I said it as I was driving into work this morning, and just to be on the safe side, I say it 3.
I'm going to give you a big rant right now, since we can't get Michael Gorman on.
Go ahead.
No, I don't have anything.
You know David Sedaris, the author?
Uh-huh.
He is so OCD. And if you read his stuff, it's hysterical, but it's kind of sad because some of the stuff he's gone through in his life due to his OCD, like it is like debilitating at times.
His hobby was picking up trash on the street, right? Like he would just go out and pick up trash. That's what he did like 3 hours a day.
Yeah, I don't know if he lives full-time in the UK or France now or somewhere, but he would go on like 15, 20-mile walks all day and pick up trash by the side of the road because he became obsessed with his step counter, like on his watch. And he wanted to see if he could surpass, like 15,000. Ooh, can I do 20,000 tomorrow? 25. He was up to like 30,000 steps, and he would pick up trash by the side of the road. But first day of the month, he sets an alarm for after midnight. So it wakes him up out of a sound sleep, and he knows to say the word rabbit, and then he goes back to sleep on the first day of every month.
And if it doesn't happen, he's screwed for the month, like?
Yeah, he would probably obsess and worry himself into a state of paralysis because of his OCD.
Interesting.
You've obviously never said rabbit on the first of any month, Wallach.
Never.
No, you kill it.
Unlucky in love. Unlucky in many things.
I mean, if he saw a rabbit, it would be in his talons.
Had you said rabbit,
glass is half empty theory. I am lucky in love at the moment. Unlucky at one point, lucky now.
First you weren't.
No, but right
now he's salivating because you said rabbit.
17 years.
Any wild rodent that's outside is as good as gone.
Let me ask Wallach a question here.
He flew in the window.
So, my wife saw...
He saw a mirror and now he's stuck.
What? What?
My wife saw an owl picking at the carcass of a rabbit a couple weekends ago.
Uh-huh.
And she...
Can't wait to find out where this goes.
She hypothesized that the owl had killed the large rabbit and then was devouring it one morning in our backyard.
Seems like a sound hypothesis.
She and Brandon said that. I was like, oh, my God, there's carnage, there's bloodshed. I'm like, I'll take care of it. So I go out there. The rabbit had been decapitated, and one of its hind legs had been pulled off. And I said, that's no owl. That looks to me like a coyote got to the rabbit, but then the owl came along and started finishing the job. So, two-part question, Wallach.
Yes.
Could an owl decapitate and remove the leg of a rabbit? And if not, could an owl scare off a coyote and take over the picking of the carcass?
Obviously, the answer is no to the second one. I have no idea about that.
An owl could not scare off a coyote?
Coyotes are kind of pussies. Like you can
They
see,
are?
like, you can see videos of like cats.
Then why
scaring
are people scared to death of coyotes?
I don't know. They're not even big. Every time I see a stupid coyote, I go, "What is the big deal?" They're just like a fat dog, and I'll go, "Is that a coyote?"
Dog.
They're more
aggressive.
aggressive.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like
I always think they look like a mangy, undersized German Shepherd.
Yeah, they're like their fur's all mangy.
But they're
so it makes them look like a wider a little bit to me.
Disease-ridden, ultra-aggressive dog, right?
I don't know.
We've had coyotes in my town. Everyone says, "Stay away from the coyote."
Then
There
how
has to
come
be a
the
reason for
turkeys
that.
walk around all unfeathered and unbothered?
Turkeys are a little different. They're not quite as quick as the coyote.
What I'm saying though is, why would there would be no turkeys left? The coyotes would eat all the turkeys. I'm telling you that I think the coyotes, everyone. There are things like this in life where everyone just is insisted upon something, and it insists, and then it just becomes like, oh, that's the thing. I'm not convinced that coyotes are an issue. What I know is an issue is, did you see the Arizona the Diamondbacks game was delayed 2 hours from bees?
Yes.
Okay, so this
Did see that.
collection of bees, and now like everyone's a huge hippie, so like you couldn't just kill the bees because that would be considered bad because everyone would get mad. Who would get mad? Who knows? but enough people would get mad if you killed the bees. So it took 2 hours because they had to bring a guy in, a beekeeper.
Yep.
They had to bring a beekeeper
Fully
in.
dressed
No,
beekeeper.
that's not what happened. They brought a beekeeper in.
Yeah.
They had the stuff there.
Oh.
Because why do they have the stuff there? No, I do know why.
Why?
Because you keep asking questions. I'll answer all of them. They had the stuff there because this happens a lot. Now, this doesn't happen other places. You know why this happens a lot? Because Arizona shouldn't have any of this stuff. Phoenix and Scottsdale shouldn't be cities.
That's where we were headed.
That is why.
Phoenix.
That is why. I'm telling you, that's an unnatural thing. That bees would be in the desert. There's no way. I don't care what your science says. Bees shouldn't be in the desert. And second of all, that they all gather like it's a thing that happens a lot. They go up in the desert and gather in these like balls on the backstop.
That's what was on top of the backstop. Literally a big blob of bees.
Yes, because
they had to delay the game.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's unnatural. I'm telling you, anyone who goes to Phoenix and goes like, "Oh, it's beautiful," and like, "Oh, Scottsdale," you're everything wrong with the world. Is that should just be a barren desert. There should be nothing there. There's no reason it exists.
Hardy, did you have a good time when you were in Scottsdale?
I had a very good time.
Yeah,
Now,
but you're the kind of people that have a good time drinking bottled water and throwing it in the ocean. You're the kind of people that will be on a boat, throwing your trash in the ocean.
You're such a negative slob, Fred. Can we just take a moment and celebrate Matt Hilton, the bee guy, as you call him? He's an apiarist, if you don't mind. And he was the hero of that night.
They had him throw out the first pitch.
And a bit of a hunk. I guarantee that guy is getting all kinds of attention from the ladies now because he's in touch with nature. And
they let him throw out the first pitch, which was a little patronizing. And he sat there.
The night.
Yeah, no,
What's
but it's
patronizing about it?
It's patronizing.
Why?
Like, because you're just like a beekeeper, and who the hell are you?
Apiarist.
It's a egalitarian attitude. Oh, the help. Oh, look, the help came in. Let him throw out the first pitch. I'm a man of the people, not some egalitarian, paternalistic fraud.
I don't even know what you're upset about anymore.
I'm upset about two things. Playing God in the desert.
He hates Phoenix. He hates Phoenix.
They're playing God.
Why? Because
I'm
there
not
are
joking.
bees there?
Because bees, that doesn't happen other places, Hardy. And there's no way, if mankind wasn't out of control, that there'd be bees, the collection of thousands of bees.
There are flowering plants in the desert. And bees.
Not to attract thousands of bees. You're out of your mind.
Is to blame for bees being in the desert?
You are so bee
I swear to God, this isn't a bit. I swear to God, I believe this.
Let me tell you something.
I did, when they were talking about it on my way in the car, this is how I refer to the radio now, is when they were talking about it in the car. And I thought to myself, you really believe this? Like, I swear to God, I believe this. Arizona is a point where mankind has gone too far. It is our own greed, and it will be pointed at like the fall of the Roman Empire. When this earth becomes inhabitable, they'll point at the golf courses and all the stupid garbage, the lawns, the idea that Scottsdale is a city. If you've never been to Arizona, people, you drive from Phoenix, and it's just the desert. It's the desert. Like, desert. Desolate. We shouldn't be living there. Like maybe maniacs should be like in RVs, doing whatever they want in the desert. It shouldn't have a major city. And you'll drive for like 20 minutes, and then grass and trees. Oh no! What is it by like water? No, it's they. And then we're out of water. I don't know what happened because you shouldn't be living there. Why do they have to live in Arizona? There's no reason. It's not like people are like, where we really need to be is Idaho. Like Idaho is the place to be. You couldn't just because it's cold. I like the weather in the desert, but I love grass too. So I got to put grass. If you want to live in the desert, live in the desert. You can't live in the desert and play golf. You can't live in the desert and have grass.
So how does this connect with bees?
Because it's an unnatural phenomenon that's happening, and they shouldn't collect like that on a regular basis.
It's completely natural. Haven't you ever seen a beehive or a hornet's
nest?
Not
in the middle of the desert. And it shouldn't happen repeatedly in a place that they keep relatively clean.
Bees are everywhere. They're the glue of our ecosystem, and we need to protect
Jake has
the
a
bees.
fact off the top of his head. I don't say I didn't say that. I'm not anti-bee. Jake, go ahead.
I'm going to say you're anti-bee. There are 1,300 species out there, my friend.
Well, hearing your voice, I believe you.
All right, I had to. You have a good day.
All right,
What?
thank you.
I didn't even understand what he said.
I was just...
Now,
I think he actually knew that off the top of his head. That's a man who knows how many species of bees they are. You know, a sommelier can taste wine and tell you what region it came from. That's a guy who can go, oh, there's 1,200 species of bees here.
Here's a quick age test. Were you?
I don't have it.
Were you? No, age.
It's HIV.
Age.
I have HIV.
No,
It's
age.
not
The AGE age test.
Okay.
Were you ever in your life afraid of killer bees and the swarm of killer bees that were coming to kill you?
Yes.
No.
I saw Leonard Nimoy in Search of. He told me that the bees were coming north
from Mexico.
Yes.
Yes.
Scared to death.
So you and I are a little bit older than Fred. You're a lot older. I'm a little bit older than Fred. In Search of Leonard Nimoy, killer bees.
And this is the first time in like 6 months that I've been referred to as younger than anyone.
Yeah. See,
it's a constant theme in my life.
I guarantee
how
you,
old I am. Led by Kendra Middleton.
Lockhart and Gemelli have no fear of killer bees coming to.
I have a big fear
Nicholas
of
is
killer bees.
a fear of getting stuck in a doorway with that acid.
Well, he's afraid of getting his head caught in the honey pot.
Well, yeah.
Seeing that plump rump sticking out the back, wiggling, trying to unglue
He
himself.
doesn't know who's going to pop up at rafters. Ben, go ahead.
I'm going to dress him
Freddie,
up like
baby.
Winnie the Pooh.
Benjamin, what up, kid?
Twitch Nation loves you. We crossed over to the YouTube, but, speaking of unnatural things, maybe we need to send young, sickly Nick Gemelli with his bionic heart out into the desert to look for these bees.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if he gets stung, it's curtains. If he gets stung, there's no way he's surviving that.
This Halloween, I want to dress Nick up like Winnie the Pooh and you like Eeyore because you're a real sad sack.
You're the first person to ever say that. You're actually not.
To dress Nick up like Winnie the Pooh?
No. To say I'm
the
like
Eeyore thing is definitely, Fred's heard that one.
Yeah, I'm a real
We'll
negative
never
Nancy.
make it.
I'm a real negative Nancy. Dan, go ahead.
Party, holy crap. I'm 39. I grew up in southern New Hampshire, and I was like telling my parents, they can't come up all the way here, right? They can't survive winters up here, right? I was terrified all growing. I don't know when it went away, but I remember, oh my God, you just struck fear into me. All my childhood, I was like, they're coming. They're coming. They're coming up. They're going to get us. They're going to kill everybody. They're going to slowly kill the whole world. I don't know what news program, what they did, but they brainwashed a lot of people with that. I was terrified. Oh, God. And then there was a truck carrying the killer bees that crashed somewhere, and it made the news, and I'm like, here they come. They're coming. Oh, God, you scared me.
I'd rather have killer bees than COVID. I mean, I'd rather have a bunch of killer bees that you could kill than some lab blowing up and getting everyone trapped in their houses for 2 years.
I really like that bee guy, though, and I hope they bring him back and he gets to throw out another pitch. I think he's doing the good work, and he's not killing the bees. He's relocating the bees, and they're going to continue to do their good work.
Very well aware he's not killing the bees because they wouldn't have had a 2-hour delay if they killed the bees. They would have just killed the bees.
I don't know what you're aware of. Hearing you lose your mind over bees in the desert.
If you don't go to Scottsdale and go, oh, this should be here. There's no way. There's no way the thought didn't cross your mind.
He's been to Scottsdale.
I just said that. There's no way that I was in Scottsdale with him. So were you. I was there. I have pictures of it. We all dined together as a happy family.
It's very nice.
It was the worst trip of my life.
Oh, that's right. We did go out to that dinner.
It's a steak dinner in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
So
We had another one in Houston.
You didn't go to Scottsdale and go, oh, this is this should be here. There's no way that you went, oh, this is good. Because you fly into Phoenix and you're in Phoenix, you don't really know. But when you drive to Scottsdale and it's desert, and then all of a sudden there's grass and all this BS and like regular trees and stuff, not like weak desert trees, then something terribly wrong has happened. Something's not good. And that's why you get bees like that. And I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. I swear to God, I was in the car. I can't believe it came up today. I wrote on the sheet, bees, because I wanted to remember.
He did that.
I wanted to remember bees because I was in the car and I'm like, wow, you really like you're not This is an internal monologue.
Okay, I will suffer through your lunatic ravings about all the things that are in Scottsdale that shouldn't be there, because you're right. Golf courses and trees that are not native. But bees are pretty much everywhere except for like the Arctic. So why shouldn't there be a collection of bees at a baseball game?
I guarantee you it wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for man. Shane, go ahead.
Hey, good morning, guys. Fake and Ed. Good morning, John, to you, the birds as well. Fred, there are 1,000 species of bees distributed in the Sonoran Desert. If you haven't been to Tucson, forget Phoenix.
I've been to Tucson. I did an audition in Tucson. Yes, go ahead.
And for old time's sake, Sarge sucks. Take care, guys.
Thank you. I don't care how many species of bees there are in the desert. They wouldn't be collecting like that.
Yes, they wouldn't be collecting like that because if you're talking about if man weren't there, yes, they built themselves on the backstop at a baseball game, so of course, but there are going to be hives of bees in places. It happens. They collect on houses, they collect on buildings, and this happened to be at a baseball game.
Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, so Fred, the guy before, I'll just build on what he said. He was right. There's thousands of species in the Sonoran Desert. They've been there for eons. And they're helped by the food gathering, and it boosts the pollination with the types of desert plants that are indigenous to the desert.
But the food gathering by man makes them collect in this fashion?
No.
I mean, that might attract them to the baseball park because there's people eating ice cream.
Let's leave it there. Let's leave it on a high note.
So is baseball the problem?
No, but you could play baseball. It's a pastoral game. You could play baseball in the desert, but the grass is unnatural.
You need grass to play baseball.
Did you ever been to Bond Park in Farmington Hills, Michigan? You absolutely do not. You put some gravel down, and you got yourself 2 baseball fields. I didn't play on a grass baseball diamond until I was in high school. And I played travel, my friend. We played on gravel, baby.
Gravel in the outfield?
No. Grass outfield, yeah.
Okay.
No, not
all
grass
right.
infields.
Well, there's one lie.
My bad. You're right. It was grass in the outfield. You know what I say?
Yeah, play ball. I know. Don't say it.
Machi. Mike Gorman is ready to go. We will have him on in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines.
Bruins.
home. And Michael Gorman will be calling that game, as he has for many, many years. Mike Gorman is the voice of the Boston Celtics for NBC Sports Boston, and Mike is brought to you by Bentley University, proud partner of the Boston Celtics, preparing for the next generation of business leaders to be a force on and off the court. Bentley University, a force for business, a force for good. And Mike joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Hi, Mike.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Okay, I'm good. Well, so pretty soon we'll be doing this about 5 minutes at 10. You know?
Yeah, exactly. This could be the last game for you.
Yes, it will be. Yep.
You think it will be?
Yep. I think it will be. I mean, I can't imagine Atlanta the Heat are going to come back here and beat Boston here, even with the singers going. I don't think that's going to happen. So yeah, I would go and do a 6-game if there was one, but there won't be one. So I'm going into tonight with the idea that this is it.
Is part of you going to be like, I hope they lose one more game? Like, is there a part of you that's going to be?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
It's not a very big part, though.
Right. I understand you're comfortable with your decision. Is there?
Okay.
Yeah. Since this is like,
there'll be a small part. Yeah, sure. With 2 or 3 minutes to go, there's a timeout we take there usually, yeah, I'm sure it might hit me then. It hasn't hit me now, but after tonight, I'm never going to do this again. Because I've always done it for 40-something years. I've been doing, knowing that even when the season was over, it was just a question of when they were going to announce the schedule in July, and then you were back to work again in September. None of that's going to apply anymore, which will be interesting. But I'll be calling you, Fred.
Well, listen, the last time I talked to you on the phone, we talked for an hour and a half. I got like 10,000 steps in. I was walking my dog. It was a whole situation.
If you go down that road, though, Mike, and you're going to like, yeah, part of me, if they lose tonight, get one more. Well, then you're going to have to probably root for them to lose again so you can have one more game at the Garden and have that be the last game at the Garden.
Yeah. Again, all that's true, but I just don't think anything's going to happen.
All right. It doesn't matter then.
Here's the thing. Let me ask you guys a quick question.
Yeah.
Do I need to say something at the end of the game, or do I just sign off like it's a regular game?
I would say something, and I thought about it actually, because there was a point during the last game where I thought for some reason it was I know why I thought it was the end of the series, because it's a mismatch. And I just thought, why isn't this over now?
Exactly. That's how we all feel.
And the reason that I watched the end of the game is because there was a part of me that was just like, oh, this might be Mike's last game. And if it had, and so I can tell you what I think, is I definitely would. Because almost by not, I don't think it's self-serving for a lot of reasons. If it happens tonight or even the next game, it's like a series that is pretty much a foregone conclusion. So it's not like you're calling Game 7 of the NBA Finals and making it about yourself, right? So
Right.
It's a first-round game that's kind of like whatever. So I think by not doing it, it's almost not cool to your fans. And I know that the hesitation is like it's about the game and it's not about me. But I honestly, as like just a viewer, I would be disappointed if you didn't. And I really mean it. And I did think about it. And I see the pros and cons. And I personally probably would lean to like, oh, well, no one wants to hear me do it. Like it's about the Celtics. I honestly would do it. I thought about it, actually.
Thank you for giving me a thought. I'm coming down on that side. It's going to be awkward because I'll be doing it to the television audience and not to the audience in the building. I don't know if they can switch that around and somehow get what I'm saying on the big board. But, yeah, so that's going to be a little bit of a juggle on my part. But, talking to the television audience and not talking to anybody who might be around later going, hey, Mike, how you doing? I'll just have to, as Tommy used to do, I'll just ignore all them and go about my business.
You know what? Well, first of all, if the Celtics are listening, it would be good to put you on the big screen. And you know what I would, Mike, is act like in your mind, be talking to the crowd, and then stand and put your hand up, because I'm sure people in the crowd, and especially the people that have been sitting around you all these years.
We've been watching you for 40 years, Mike. We want to say goodbye.
Yeah, you're a part of people's lives. You have to remember that. You almost have like a duty to say something, because you have been a part of people's lives a lot, like a lot of nights a year.
Yeah, a lot to think about it.
Yeah, you're not some guy in a sitcom that ran for 5 years. Like you for 40 some odd years you've been doing.
You've seen the ups and downs, back to the ups.
No, but you've been doing it's sometimes probably 100 games. That's a lot of nights in people's living room.
I'm coming down the other side of this, Mike. You're up 20 in the fourth quarter, a minute left. Say, you know what? I got to go to the bathroom and just don't come back. Irish goodbye. Ultimate Irish goodbye.
We weren't sure you were going to come back after halftime of the last regular season game.
Yeah.
You missed the third quarter. Scalabrine was sitting there saying, we don't know if Mike's going to come back. We don't blame him if he doesn't. We were like, is he coming back? Is he not coming back? So maybe that's the way to go.
I kind of like that, John. I do. But I think I get stopped at the door probably. So
yeah, and then
I really appreciate that. I appreciate the input, guys. That's really.
All right.
There aren't a lot of people in the business. I talk more to you guys than I talk to anybody else.
Right.
Maybe Scal. That's about it.
Yeah, he didn't know what he's doing.
But it is kind of reassuring that somebody like you, Mike, who's been doing it as long as you've been doing it, as well as you've been doing it, still kind of second guesses things and thinks about how you address the audience as opposed to the people around you. Because I would think, well, if it's second nature to anybody, if anybody has it all figured out, it's got to be Mike Gorman. And it's kind of reassuring in a way to know, like, oh no, it's okay to kind of still be figuring things out. This is a unique situation.
Yeah, there's no playbook for this.
No, but for your purposes, Mike, addressing the television audience as opposed to the garden audience, you've been doing it for 40 years. You know how to do it. It's going to be great, whatever you decide to do, I'm sure.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks all three of you guys. Really, I wanted to get your opinions. I wanted to get your opinion, John, as a play-by-play guy. Do you do a play-by-play, or do you say goodbye?
Oh, he does it at the end of every Brian game.
You say goodbye because you're never sure in my case which one will be your last.
No,
so.
the crowd, they get very emotional, Mike, at the end of the Brian season.
That's right. That's right.
Everyone throws gum wrappers and things for a nest.
I thank you for the compliment, despite these two guys here. I thank you very much for the compliment.
It was Mike remembering. He's a classy guy. You remember that you do play-by-play, and he got it in there.
Let's change the subject. Have you guys been watching the Knicks and the 76er series?
Yes. Last night was fantastic.
How about the end of that last night?
Oh, it was great. I mean, I love to see the Knicks go down, and last night was fantastic.
After celebrating and acting like it was all over.
Yeah, I know.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, because if you don't the New York fans took over took over Philadelphia. They were putting jerseys on the Wilt Chamberlain statue. And it was like, that series isn't even over.
I know.
And it's a first-round series, big New York team.
You're up 6 in your own building, all those fake celebrities paying all that money to sit courtside, and Maxey shoots a big hole in it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, but from about half court, Maxey ties the game with 10 seconds left, and then you get the ball and you can't score. It was almost a reversal of game 2, Mike.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you think Philadelphia has a chance in that series now, 3-2?
Oh, I do. I mean, he still doesn't play very well, and he still does a triple-double. I don't know if the other kid will do as well as he does, but there's no stopping him when he decides to take the ball to the basket. And then he hits ridiculously. That 1-3 he hit at the end of the game, that was a big-time shot.
Does it scare you? Does this series with the Knicks in Philadelphia scare you, or does it make you think, oh, my God, there's no one in the East?
No, I'd love to see the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals playing either the Knicks or the Sixers. That'd be great. Great theater around here. I'm not sure how much the rest of the country could care about it, but around here it'd be great.
Without Porzingis, who would the Celtics rather face off, or does it not matter? Presuming that Porzingis is going to miss a couple few weeks.
Yeah, I think they'd probably rather face the Knicks, and I'd have to deal with Embiid. Because when he puts his mind to it, he really is practically unstoppable. And he's 7'3" and 280, and he moves very well, ridiculously well, actually, for a guy his size. And, the Celtics have really no answer, especially without Porzingis. They don't have any answer at all for him in the middle. Now, I know you're about 45 years old or whatever it is. Can you go cover this guy for a while?
Yeah.
That's a tough ask,
Yeah. We were actually talking a little bit about Embiid earlier and what a tease he's been throughout his career. You see when he puts his mind to it, there's no better player on the planet, but there's always something with him. He's always hurt, or he's always got some kind of ailment, or he just decides not to try.
Exactly. And I don't know what, but he doesn't seem to want to acknowledge it in post game or anything else. Yeah, he's a strange guy. I take him though. If you're saying you give up on it, I'll take him.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that the Knicks fans that are all vilifying him for being dirty would all take him on the Knicks in 10 seconds, and that's the rumor. But he also has this love-hate relationship with the Philadelphia fans. He calls them out. They call him out. Yeah. It's a really toxic relationship between him and the people of Philadelphia.
Yeah, it is. That's a toxic city that way, though, with the sports teams.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're right. It's more with an individual even with the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you think Boston's bad. It's like real hatred there. Like there at least is a joy that comes with the Boston people. All right, Mike, we gotta end this. Are you going to be going?
10 o'clock? Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. It's all good. Listen, more listeners now. Are you going to be going to the games though? If tonight's the last game, are you still going to be going to the games and stuff?
Oh yeah, I'm going to the games.
Okay.
I'll still show up. I'll call you every Wednesday morning.
No, I know that. Believe me, I know that. That's the retirement plan, baby.
That's right, baby. You got that one covered.
That's right. This is there's a lot of time with Mike Gorman, but yes, of course, I know that. But you're still going to be hanging around. You're still going to be going to games and stuff.
Without question. I don't think I'm not going to any away games anymore.
No,
I'll be hanging around the Garden.
All right, cool. Well, listen, NBC Sports Boston. That's where you watch the game tonight, of course, as always. And if it is indeed your last game, Mike, everyone who's at the Garden tonight, remember that. Mm-hmm. And remember, it's Mike Gorman's last night, and give him the acknowledgement he deserves. Mike, we will talk to you next week. Have fun tonight.
Thanks for setting the table, Greg.
There you go, baby. That's what it's all
about.
Good to
talk to you, Mike.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, I'll see you guys. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. There you go, Mike Gorman.
Yeah, what do you say? We hope this is your last game. I mean, it's kind of weird.
I don't care either way. They're going to win the series. So you do it tonight. If you don't do it tonight,
yeah, do it at the Garden.
Do it at the Garden.
Yes, yep, do it tonight.
You know what? Let them win tonight. Let them win tonight.
Right.
Give the man the proper send.
Do it tonight.
All right, there you go. There's your motivation. Something the Bruins had none of. My Billy Jaffe is here. He will stay for 2 breaks. I'm already letting him know. I don't care when he has to do whatever rehab he's always doing. Mike Gorman was presented by Bentley University, a force for business, a force for good. We'll be back with Billy Jaffe.
Celtics, Bruins, Revs, and Patriots.
Touchdown, Patriots.
Boston's home for sports is 98.5 The Sports Hub. Easily media group station. Sports Hub headlines.
Matthew Nyes banged home a John Tavares rebound, 2:26 into overtime, and Toronto has pushed the Bruins to a Game 6, care of a 2-1 win at TD Garden. The Bruins got a goal from Trent Frederick in the first period, but Joseph Wall was great in net for the visitors, making 27 saves as the Leafs won despite the fact they didn't have Austin Matthews. Jim Montgomery quite literally was at a loss for a reason as to why all of this happened.
We're good enough. I don't have, something to give you that's concrete that what led to our slow start. Besides, Toronto was better than us.
The Bruins still lead this playoff series 3-2, Game 6 up at Scotiabank Center tomorrow night. Carolina finished off the Islanders in 5-6-3. Colorado beat Winnipeg 6-3 to end that series in 5. And Nashville won in Vancouver 2-1 to push that series to a Game 6. Celtics center Kristaps Porzingis has been diagnosed with a strain of the soleus muscle in his right calf. He's already been ruled out of the Celtics' next game, which is tonight at TD Garden against Miami. They lead the Heat 3-1 in that first-round best-of-7. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 7 and the tip-off at 7:30 here on the BetMGM 98.5 The Sports Hub Celtics Radio Network. The Heat will be without Jimmy Butler, Terry Rozier, and Jaime Jaquez. Celtics president of basketball operations Brad Stevens yesterday voted the NBA's Basketball Executive of the Year. And the Red Sox shut out San Francisco 4-0. They've won 3 in a row. This 3-game series continues tonight at Fenway. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning. With over 50 trucks on the road, because your clogged drain is their emergency, go to johnsewer.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
This is Kristaps Porzingis.
Left-hand dribble, lobs it. Porzingis catches with one hand and throws it down.
You're listening to the home of Boston Celtics basketball. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
We're back with Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Up the far side, the Leafs crank it ahead. Here's Tavares. He'll motor his way in. Drops the shoulder. Set it out in front. They score! Matthew Nyes able to scoop up a loose puck in the slot. He scores in overtime. And the Toronto Maple Leafs stay alive, and the Bruins miss a big opportunity to finish off the series.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, and we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us every morning on YouTube, and I imagine we have a lot of people looking now because Billy Jaffe's in studio.
Punk alert.
Little eye candy for the ladies.
Rally cap Jaffe.
Search 98.5. He's just a kid. He's
got the guns out too. You see that?
He did it because of Ken Griffey rules. He did it. He's like the kid Ken Griffey.
Right.
With the hat backwards. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe, please. Oh, Jesus Christ. Please, for the love of God, will you subscribe to us? Please. We're trying to get a whole YouTube thing going. Just in time. Billy Jaffe, we were talking about it off the air. This is the kind of loss that we actually discuss off the air. Is usually it's how you doing. This was Bruins. Okay.
How you doing?
Hey, how you? Obviously, Billy Jaffe from Nesson. So last night you have a Toronto team, as you know, who's getting killed by the Toronto media, by their fan base. The coach is going to be fired after this game. They don't have their best player because he's sick. There's all these talk about like who's actually injured. I mean, real drama.
Yep.
They're fighting on the bench. So you're the Bruins. It's Game 5 at home. Everything's going for you, all the momentum, and you come out and inexplicably. You all except for Swayman. So everyone who's not a goaltender that doesn't have all those pads on is like almost like unilaterally playing terribly. The shot differential was insane. The Bruins had 2 shots in the first period. The time of possession was insane. The face-off disparity was insane.
How about the fact that you go from dominating? I agree with everything here. You go from dominating the neutral zone the previous 2 games, which was a major point of their wins, because Game 2, if you remember how well Toronto went through the neutral zone against them, where they ended up winning. Bruins did some beautiful adjustments, and then you go away from them, meaning the players get away from that in Game 3, and all of a sudden, like right away, Fred, You saw the speed through the neutral zone by the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Bruins D having to back up. We talked about in the first intermission and showed it, and it was a complete 180 from what they had done. So I agree with everything you're saying. You have every reason to come out with the intensity, the fervor, the passion to win, to put them away, to do the old chokehold or whatever you want to call it, the stranglehold on them, right? You know, to whatever cliche you want.
Foot
to use.
on their neck.
Thank you. There you go. However, the other team comes out with a carefreeness. You know that they being Toronto, Fred Hardy. Well, you knew in the locker room they were saying, guys, we have no pressure on here. Let's just go out there. We're supposed to lose. Let's go out there. Let's go kick some ass. Let's go have some fun. Let's just go play flow hockey. Let's go. Let's go out there and do that, and let's see what happens. You know, summarizing probably what they said, and they probably did bring up, hey guys, last year they were up 3-1. Why not? Let's just make it. Let's go out, win a period. Let's go do that. And they did that. And the Bruins, to me, looked tentative, and they didn't appear, you know. And this is one thing that Jim Montgomery talked about. What he wanted from his team was starting on time, and that was the antithesis. And remember, he gave it to him in practice the day before to make sure that their antennas got up and the guys got their practice legs going. And then on game day, they seem to be pretty sharp, you know, for what it's worth in morning skate. That doesn't really show you anything. But then they came out and they were completely, again, I thought, playing fearful of losing instead of coming out there saying, we are going to win. It's the old saying, if you're going to lose, it happens. It's how you lose. So.
What is it with this team and the reluctance to shoot the puck or even put pucks on net when you have legitimate
they go from playing
top-end goal scorers? You got
I know.
Pasternak, you got Marchand, you got Zacha. These guys, it's like they're looking for the extra pass, and I don't leave anybody out of this. Marchand has been guilty of it here at the end of the regular season and in the postseason. What the hell?
I don't know. It's a mindset. That goes again, I think, to the confidence of playing with confidence, and they sure didn't seem to have it in the first period. The first two periods. It got better. There were moments of betterness, if that's a term, or goodness in the third, where they did be more aggressive. I mean, look, their first goal was the Bruins' first goal was predicated on good rush out of the zone. Great dump into the O-zone. You had a speed from weak side and Boquist going to strong side, setting up perfect forecheck. How have the Bruins generated 95% of their offense in this series? Puck deep, below goal line, hammer away, get pucks to net. And I don't want to say it's easy because that's not fair. But when they do it that way, they're significantly better. But they got away from this. So why did they get away from shooting? It just seems it must be a confident thing.
Well, I mean, Nick took a great dump. You looked at me, Hardy.
Fred and I looked at each other when
took
a
big
dump into the ozone.
Downstairs in the downstairs toilets. So if you're one of the companies downstairs, upstairs. I apologize, Nicholas. He gets a workout in.
It takes a
when
while.
He's lighter, he likes to come down the stairs.
I understand.
Hardy looked at me, so I had to jump on the dump line.
No, that's fine.
Potty humor.
We'll get used to it.
Billy, I'm sorry you got to deal with it.
Hardy looked at me, so I had to.
I got it.
Tim, go ahead.
So you win a game, and you got the next game to totally wipe them out, and it's all over. And you change the forwards up front. What was the rationale there? And, you know, every team knows that they collapsed in front of their net with the defense. The Bruins defense is, you know, somewhat skeptical. But don't you take Grzelcyk out? He's about the size of, you know, Don Sweeney. I mean, maybe that's why he likes him. I don't know. But please advise me of the changes up front and why keep Grzelcyk out there.
Well, Jim Montgomery was asked about if he made changes to the lineup, why, you know, what would be not so much the rationale, but just the balancing act of how you do that versus, and he said, if we make changes, this was, I think it was yesterday, maybe it was Monday. He just said that it would be, you know, we think to make our team better. We're not just going to make changes to make changes. So with regard to the one change up front, Brazeau comes into the lineup, and the team, the coaching, you know, Jim Montgomery talked about not getting inside the dots enough and wanting more puck possession. You know, that's where you have a guy in Brazeau. I got to tell you something. I thought Brazeau's game was fine. I really did. I thought he was good, and he did his thing there. And it moved Maroon to the left side, off to the right, whatever. Again, I thought at times the third and fourth lines played better. At least the top two lines, I don't think played defensively well.
Whenever Maroon was on the ice, the Bruins played better.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, you could tell Maroon was on the ice. Like you could tell that there was a presence.
You could feel it, yeah. And so that was that change there. Where you took a potential loss, and I'm sure we're going to get into. You already brought up the faceoffs. You've taken Beecher out of the lineup. Beecher's first game of the series was off the charts, and even Montgomery said that's the best game he's ever played as a pro. And then he's been up and down. His faceoffs were okay until last game, so that would be game 4, where I think he was 14%. I think he was 1 for 7 or 1 out of 8 in the faceoff circle. And so I think that was the decision they made, to saying, well, wait a second, we're seeing this game drop. So now that Brazeau's healthy, we'll put him in. With regard to Grzelcyk, I was more surprised about the change to the D crew, given how the D crew had played well. I know that Shattenkirk hadn't played a ton, but he had been out there as one of your 2 units on power play quarterback back there. They had kind of protected him at 5-on-5. But the other thing is, Wotherspoon had played so well, and it kind of worked. And this game last night, it got changed up a bit. So we weren't sure what they were doing. There were rumblings, guys, that Forbert might play, right?
Yeah.
You heard? I think he'll play tomorrow. I think Forbert will be in the line. Now, we also, I just got to tell this. I have no update on Carlo. And that is a significant,
Right.
Let's hope it's when I say just a facial injury, meaning that he needed to get stitched and hopefully nothing to do with teeth, and hopefully he can wear some protection and go play, because that would be a gigantic loss.
Real quick about the goaltending, Joseph Woll played really well last night. He's been mediocre. He was mediocre during the season, but he had himself a fantastic game. That stop on Frederick on the left post was amazing.
Great. Yeah.
Do you think he can duplicate that again, or is it just a one-off?
Good question. You remember last year, John, if you do remember, in the second round, he ended up playing, I think it was 4 games against Florida, at least 3, if not 4, and he played pretty well. Florida was a better team. They ended up winning. He showed some pretty good composure. I agree with you that, now, first of all, he faced nothing early on. So whether or not, who knows?
That makes it more impressive later. The guy had no action at all.
Well, so he must have gone in and got a little exercise in between the first and second to get the heart rate up a bit. He's got a good way about him, emotionally. I remember covering him when he was at Boston College and watching him there and talking to people about him. Can he duplicate it again? If they don't see a lot of shots, yeah, probably. But his save on Frederick was huge. He got beat by Coyle on a post shot in the third as well, which was a heck of a shot right there. And then the one in overtime, the Coyle turnaround, I think that hit Geeky's foot and went into his pad. Regardless, his pad was still there. I'd like to think if the Bruins, capital I, capital F, get back to their structured hockey, they're not turning the puck over hockey, their control of the neutral zone hockey, they get back to that, they will get more high-quality chances, which they did in 3 and 4, and that would put him more on his heels.
All right, well, let's keep Billy if you can stay. Can you stay, Billy?
And
just for you, yes.
I have a request of Billy. I'm going to ask him a question. It has to do with Brad Marchand. And please just don't say, I don't know. I don't know, Hardy. I don't know. When I ask you know what I'm going to ask you about? About the sequence that led to the matching minors. Okay?
Okay.
Just don't tell me you don't know. You don't know why it happened, or you know why.
Why he got called?
Yes.
I still have no idea. I'll come up with something for you.
An answer during the break. I'm giving you plenty of time.
Reputation.
Plus, the officials were nuts last night. There's ex-officials on Twitter going nuts on Jack Edwards. There's officials tackling Marchand on the ice.
Yeah, I didn't like that call.
Grabbing
I didn't.
Pasternak and McAvoy by the
He got held
spiders.
twice on that play, Hardy. Too,
yes, he did. The first whole collection was the first whole incident. He didn't do anything.
Yeah,
he was the victim. All right, Billy Jaffe will continue with us. He's brought to you by, delivered by Grand City Electric GCE Night Train. Electrical contractors get on board the GCE Night Train. Woohoo! Order your materials to be delivered overnight to the job site and following morning and save time and money. Go to gcenighttrain.com, and Billy joins us in studio where he will stay for another break, even though he'll receive no more money as compensation. We will be back in just a moment.
You're Mike.
You're listening to Toucher and Hood.
Big explosion.
98.5, the Sports Hub.
I think everything on the station could use a nice wash.
It was me years and years
Yeah, I know.
and years ago, but I mean, it hasn't been my job. We can do our own beds. We'll do a bunch of our own beds.
All right.
Morning Toucher and Hardy specific beds.
Well, it seems that Nicholas is the tastemaker because he's the one whose selection for the intro to the show is the intro to the show.
He's got a lot on his plate.
He's got a lot in his trunk. All right, Billy Jaffe's in studio. Hardy was about to. He already asked him the question. Billy's got these morning brew hats because he does the morning brew podcast.
Oh, here we go.
And Billy's like, "Would you wear one?" And he's like, "You won't offend me if you say no," which of course you would.
No, it wouldn't offend me.
Let the YouTubers see it.
Yeah, turn that baby
turn it
around.
around.
You got cameras on.
Very limited edition.
That's good.
Yeah,
looking
he's
logo.
like, "Don't tell me you want one if you don't want one because they're limited edition."
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
They
That's
cost me $2 to make.
I wish, like the traveler here gave you, and Fred just left it here. What if you don't have friends? Who needs enemies?
I understand.
He gave me a mug, and then I left the mug. I forgot I had the mug, and then he's like, "What?" He's like, "What? You left the mug here?" It wasn't in the
It had
trash.
cobwebs on it.
I got the coffee you gave me. I gave the morning brew little thing, that thermos you gave me.
Yep.
Use it.
Well,
Sure.
everyone listen to Morning
Good,
Brew.
buddy.
Billy's trying very, very hard. He's
Just working,
marketing
buddy.
the hell out of
Just
this
working.
thing.
Having fun with it. Although last night was a tough one. It was a late one.
Yeah.
We recorded after the game. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw tomorrow night's start time.
I know. I did see this.
You did see it?
It sucks.
Due to because Colorado won and they finished their series, there's only one NHL game tomorrow night. It is at 8 o'clock.
Oh, God. That pisses me off more that they lost. Now that we have to stay up later to watch this team
All right.
possibly lose.
All right, so let me ask. The matching minors in the third as Holmberg and Marchand get tangled up after the face-off, and while you're watching it, and you guys, they broke it down during the broadcast. You broke it down again during the.
I don't get it. I didn't get it.
Okay, so the Marchand gets held at least twice. You could even argue a third time.
Right, yeah.
There was one retaliatory grab that I saw Marchand do, but certainly not enough. I don't know that I would have blown the whistle on either one.
Let it go like they did when he and Bertuzzi were going at it the other game.
That's
Absolutely.
Fine. So
keep it clean.
How does that linesman come over and not be able to control himself? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he ran into Marchand.
I think it's exactly what I think happened. I'm going to guess immediately when he took Brad down that he said, "I'm sorry for that." Like meaning, I'm going to guess there was some apology there for being a little overzealous and just coming in with perhaps a little bit the angle or whatever taking him down.
Okay, so how is it that they end up both going off?
I agree with you. I'm not going to say I don't know because you don't want me to answer that because the back referee who made that call, it was Kyle Raymond who made the call, decided that he was going to, I'm guessing, manage the game there. You have to look at the depth of a series. You've got to go over things. You understand that there have been players involved and stuff. Now, this wasn't Bertuzzi and Brad. This was Holmberg and Brad going at it. I don't know if that came into play or not, but I'm again just guessing here because I cannot get into the head of somebody else. Game management, as they put it in quotes.
Yeah.
I agree because we've this is not Homer, but this would be. If the Bruins had gotten away with those two holds, if the roles were reversed, I think we would say he got away with those two holds there before that, and probably got fortunate that it was 4-on-4. So, a long way of saying I'm not sure why they did it, and I know you don't want to hear that answer.
Do you know who Tim Peel is? An ex-referee.
I do. Yeah.
He tweets like Trump, which is something that's interesting. This was sent to me because do you tell me when it sounds like Trump? I think Jack Edwards may be having some health issues, and I sympathize with that, but calling referee number 40, Steve Kazari, a coward is despicable. Kazari was carried off his stretcher, blah, blah, blah. Last year, he fat-shamed Pat Maroon. Very sad, Jack. That's the
sad.
Sad. Friendly. Let's talk about the officials. Jack Edwards had an issue with them. Let's talk about the officials. They were kind of weird last night, grabbing Pasternak and McAvoy, which is what Jack Edwards was talking about, and kind of shaking him around and like yelling at him and chewing him up. Vulgarities, Billy Jaffe.
Yeah, you had that play that ended up with Coyle getting the extra minor as well, right?
Yeah.
And that was curious.
Yeah.
That was very curious, and they were motioning about how you ended up grabbing on again. I saw that as an even up scenario. I did, and again, you got to have the tone of the series, and I mean, this has been very physical, but has it been off the charts?
No, it hasn't. And even comparatively to past series, it's not even nearly as physical as the last Florida series.
Hasn't. No,
it's not like the Vancouver series. It almost seemed like, and I'm not complaining about the officiating. The officiating isn't the reason why the Bruins lost yesterday in any way, shape, or form. But the idea that they just seemed so overzealous, like you said, like they were like putting out fires that weren't lit yet.
Right. And so there's always this talk about game management, and sometimes you got to get ahead of it. Officials usually are going to say if we get ahead of it, it usually keeps things toned down. I just thought there is an element that you have to allow the temperature to rise a bit in a playoff series, and again, you have to understand what's been happening. So it was, curious at times, but I couldn't agree with you more, though, Fred. Wasn't the reason that they ended up losing. As poorly as they played, right? As poorly as they played, especially in that first period, they still had a legit chance to win it. So that's the thing. You have to sit there and say, okay, is that good or bad news? I don't know. I mean, we all know the narrative tomorrow night now, heading into Toronto. You know the Toronto media is going to be all over. Is this last year, meaning the Florida series happening again? Toronto is just going to say, we did our gig. Is Austin Matthews going to come back and play? I don't know.
What's his deal?
It can't be an illness. It cannot be an illness with how he doesn't seem as powerful. He seems laboring. He only skated maybe 3-4 minutes at morning skate yesterday and then took himself off the ice.
Because this has become great intrigue in Toronto. Like, this is the big investigation, is that Toronto, the Maple Leafs aren't
How much better did Max Domi look at center, though, compared to the wing?
We talked about it. Max Domi won 10 faceoffs in a row.
Straight. Well, more than just that, though. He was their best overall forward last night. And he, it might pain people to hear it, but he took it upon himself, I think, to say, I'm just going to go out and I'm going to fill this role for Matthews, which he can't, but he did a really good job.
Well, the Bruins let him. I mean, the first period, the Bruins let him do whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah, he was good.
So, of course it's not the officials' fault. They played like crap in the first period. They were very lucky to have it tied, and then they were ineffective for the rest of the game, and they lost in overtime. I mean, it wasn't like a power play in overtime, so it didn't cost them the game. It just... Like I said, I know why I think I know why they gave penalties to Marchand. In addition, is that, like you said, they were trying to get ahead of it and they were trying to break it up before it became something else. But that means they completely missed the first part of it,
right?
Because the first part of it, Marchand wasn't doing anything except getting
thrown
violated,
down. Right.
And then to get in there and like grabbing him and pushing him down, like it was like out of control.
Yeah.
And do you think Marchand was flexing to hit the ref? Like, did you watch the replay of that? Like, he was going to hit him in the face.
Boy, I'm glad he didn't.
No, I'm glad he didn't too, because I'd imagine there'd be a suspension. I don't know or not. Like, if you hit an official. Yeah. But he was like, "Get the F off me," and then he stood up and like cocked his fist back.
That's why I'm guessing that there was communication right away, as if like, "Hey, sorry" or whatever. It's me, and I don't know. I'm with you on that. Now, it's again easy to sit here and say, but you got to extricate that. You can't forget the performance. You've got to say we've got to be so much better, and you have to go into this game 6 confidently. If you don't,
if you come out tight like that,
if you come out tight again, you're screwed. You're absolutely going to be in trouble.
And it just takes one line.
By the way,
to fix that, like it just takes one line to come out and play heavy in forecheck, and then get some possession time, and like that. There wasn't one line on this team in that first period that did anything.
No, and no, there wasn't. I mean, I think it's time. Like, I'd really love to see that Zaka line come through and dominate like they can. I think that would be
helpful.
That would be Yeah, it'd be helpful. It'd be great. It would be reassuring. I think that again, the top couple of lines at times in their own zone were struggling. The gaps. I keep going back to this, and I already said it, but the gaps between forward and D were so sublime in Game 3 and Game 4. We showed it in pregame how structured and how they owned the ownership of the ice, blue line to blue line, and then it was very different in Game 5, which is always concerning because this goes back to, you can't, if you're going to lose, it's one thing, but lose with your best effort, lose with your best system, et cetera. So they got to get back to that. Now, of course, you have questions. What will the lineup look like on tomorrow night?
Beecher's got to come back in, right? Forbort, you think in as well?
I would imagine Forbort.
I'm assuming. I'm just reading tea leaves, talking to people, looking around. You think that Forbort would be in. Again, it comes down to Carlo. I'm going to say I'm going to say that it was just a facial injury, meaning just a bunch of stitches and a little teeth work or whatever, and he'll be okay to play. So he'll be there. So, again, do you make one change in the back end? Probably. The Beecher thing, it's interesting. Again, he was like at 14% in his face-off efficiency in Game 4. Do you change that? Do you go back to Beecher, Boquist, Maroon? Do you change that? We'll have to wait and see. There's been maintenance days for another player, Danton Heinen, for a couple days. How's he doing? You got to take all this into consideration. So we can sit here and spitball, but let's wait to see it really until tomorrow, Johnny, after morning skate and who's healthy now. And again, today's just a midday option for the Bruins, and then they will all head out for Toronto in the afternoon.
So Carl got hit in the face with a puck. So a concussion or a broken jaw would keep him out, and then you would assume a laceration or like losing teeth. He would play.
Laceration. He'll be in, no doubt. He's been so important to this team, and that's what I'm going with. That's what I hope. That's what I'm thinking.
Billy Jaffe, you can listen to the Morning Brew, BRU.
You gonna sell those hats?
No, I'm giving them just to a couple of people.
Why don't you sell them?
No, okay. Drop ship and everything. I just want you guys to enjoy them.
See? Nice guy. Right there.
That's all Billy wants is everyone
to be happy.
Everyone to be happy.
Yeah.
You know what? In this crazy, messed up world, you're absolutely right.
There you go.
Good to see you for 2 segments. Two segments.
You sat in here for 2 segments.
Thanks for having me.
That means 2 off-air segments, too.
That's
a lot of
better.
time with us.
That's even better.
You've been here for 40 minutes today.
Time to go get something to eat. See you guys.
Absolutely. There goes Billy Jaffe. Watch him on Nesson, which would be their last game would be Game 6. So Billy Jaffe, watch him on Nesson. Listen to the Morning Brew podcast. We will be back. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headline. the air, online, on the app. This is how Boston sports fans start their day. Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub. We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
All right, we are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel.
Don't question me.
Hardy was talking about how he was playing 9 holes by himself yesterday.
You know, you didn't have anything else to do. I'm like, I did everything that I had to do, and my kids were otherwise occupied, and I'm like, I'm going to go play.
Some of us live full lives with responsibilities and things to do, and king-size beds. I got to take apart my old bed, and my son and I got to somehow I ordered this mattress because when I got the bed, and then it gave me this mattress. It's one of those rolled-up mattresses, but it's a king-size one. It might weigh 300 pounds.
Yep.
So my son and I tried to pick it up outside and couldn't do it. So I had to, like, flip it into my house, take it out of the box, and now it's just sitting wrapped up because you're supposed to open it up on the bed. So I don't know how I'm going to get it upstairs.
Do you have any
so
neighbors?
If there's any burly boys.
Do you have any neighbors that are actual men that could help you with a thing like that?
He used to, right?
Probably.
Yeah, the guy used to work out in his driveway.
Oh, that's down the street from my old house. Yeah, there's a guy who works out in his driveway. He's tans in a lawn chair. Out in front of his
Paulie
place.
Gauthieri and the sun thing.
Yeah, he goes to the deli and plays dice out in front of that too. He's in the mafia. So no, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's like I had trouble sleeping last night because I bought a drill, Hardy.
Oh, Jesus. You didn't have a cordless
I did have a drill, but I didn't have the battery charger. I must have thrown it away during the move.
Smart.
So I had to buy a new drill.
What kind
That's
you get?
$20.
Oh, $20, but it was a good one.
A DeWitt?
DeWalt? You bought a $20 DeWalt?
I got a Joyce DeWitt.
Joyce DeWitt.
Yeah.
Only cost you $20.
I got the mid-range one.
You know where you should buy your tools, Fred? Is in like the as seen on TV section of CVS. That's about all that you should probably be handling.
I don't know if I've ever had a crueler insult thrown my way. How dare you? There's fun and games, and then there's what you.
I remember when
it's a Meagle cordless power drill. It's 20 volts of American precision. It cost me $35.99. It came with a bit set, but I have a socket set. So there we are. I got I'm rolling with a socket set hard. So I just put that thing in reverse, right? I just put that bad boy in reverse and take them screws out, right? That's what you do, right?
Well, they're not screws. They'd be bolts if you're using a socket set.
Yeah, the bolts. I'd be taking the bolts out, right?
I don't know what you do. I remember when you were getting ready to have Milo. And
good days.
You came to the radio station.
Yeah, and in it.
With the car seat so that Adam 12 could install the car seat for you in the back seat of your car because you just couldn't handle it.
Maybe it was because I knew what a precious, precious, precious thing was coming into my life, and I didn't want to cut any corners. I wanted to make sure that someone who has had that responsibility could put the car seat in. I'm glad that it stayed with you like that.
Well, I mean, why
He kind of just double-checked my work, you know?
No, I'm pretty sure he put it in there for you. Because...
I did, but I was over there. I was paying attention, so the next time I could do it myself.
But there was a conversation.
It was in the Ford Fusion. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, maybe going to the fire station to have, like, again, actual men check your work for you.
I believe that was something I didn't invent in my head. I believe they said you should. Maybe it was probably Adam 12 because it was free. He probably said, like, take advantage. You're paying taxes. That's what your town taxes are for. You go, by the way, the library's got coffee.
And by the way,
he's going to walk behind the counter.
You go by the fire station at the right time of day, they're going to have a big pot of spaghetti on because they're going to feed all those boys. Yeah. And you get yourself a free meal.
I didn't think that. And by the way, God bless the churches for really going all out with the spaghetti dinner. That's got to be 30 cents at overhead. Not even any meat. Just if you buy like a big thing, like you can buy a thing of marinara sauce size of Nick's ample bosom. That's what I call it.
What? His breasts?
I don't know. Today's been a long day.
Ample caboose.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to take apart the bed. There's a lot. And it's my son, and my son's not overly, the two of us, I don't know how we're going to get this upstairs. How do you lift something that's 300 pounds, 200 pounds upstairs? How do you do it? You tell me. What am I not getting?
Bring some more people in.
I don't know how many people
leverage.
I don't know how many people could honestly carry it because of its length.
It's a mattress still wrapped in plastic.
Yeah, super wrapped up.
You get that thing on the stairs, you should be able to slide it up. You get one person at the bottom pushing. You get the person at the top lifting a little bit, and you just push it. You push it up the stairs.
The people who put the bed in, I'm like, I'll give you $80 to take apart the old bed, and they're like, dude, I can't do it. It was as simple as that too. This conversation went as well as I'm related. It was perfectly understood, the whole thing.
The answer's no, sir.
Yeah. So they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't." But apparently, they're no. $80 to take apart a bed. They have the tools to put together the bed. Taking apart the bed would take 2 seconds. But they
liability.
Yep. That a lady told on them because she said that they were responsible for it, so they ruined it for everyone.
Okay.
So I thought about getting TaskRabbit. But then I had a feeling I'd get a TaskRabbit guy out there and you'd be like, can you help me? Can you help me get this up?
Well, the problem is it's going to be – I don't know from TaskRabbit. Maybe –
I don't know TaskRabbit either. Maybe you could be my TaskRabbit.
I would love to help you with this. Can I?
No, you wouldn't.
Why not? This sounds like fun.
You threw your back out moving exercise equipment out of the...
I did not throw my back
out basement.
He fell down and hurt his rib.
I cracked my ribs, but
he didn't fall out his back.
No, that was...
He fell down and went
a weight issue. Okay.
And that's only because my wife had let the fox into the hen house. We thought we had gangbangers coming over to the house to pick up the treadmill. It turns out they were very nice young men.
Well, one doesn't preclude the other. It just has a propensity for multiple partners.
So the old bed has to be taken apart still. Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you have the tool for the job, Hardy?
Come on.
Nick, go ahead.
Fred, this is what you do. All right, you're letting a lot of men down here. I'm listening to you. Is it still wrapped in is it wrapped up? It's not undone?
Yeah.
Do you have rope? Do you have any type of twine or rope?
No.
Okay. Buy some rope. Not much. Wrap it up. Tight. That way you have a handle. You have Milo on the bottom, push it up, and you grab your hand around that rope, and you pull it up the stairs. That's all you got to do. Leverage.
What kind of knot do I have to fashion on this thing?
You can tie it, not like a shoelace. Don't do a shoelace. Do like a
granny knot?
You could do any type of knot. Any type of knot will do. Just make it nice and tight. Leverage and tension, and you just pull that. You pull that mattress right up, and you'll be sleeping like a baby by 11:45.
So you're saying go out, buy rope. Why? There was 5 guys that put together the bed too. They could have done all of this.
You're letting all men down, Fred.
Where's the old bed?
They might
now?
as well join the women.
Where's the old bed now?
In my bedroom.
What, the new bed is also put together?
Yeah, so to get to the bathroom, I have to climb the bed.
Oh, so they just shifted the old bed off to the side.
No, they didn't move the old bed at all. They just put the king size. I don't live in a hovel. I mean, the king size bed is
spacious master suite.
It's all mine, baby.
Which you can't call a master suite anymore.
No, you can't say the word master.
No.
Yeah. Just like the Hilton Head, it's a real crime. They can't call it Steve Tynes Plantation anymore, or Shipyard Plantation. They've taken those away, which I'm sure pissed people off for no reason.
Primary suite is what we're going with now.
Okay. So anyway, in the primary suite, it's I'm not hurting for square footage, Hardy.
Okay. Well,
I have a lot of guys in chairs watching.
I'm pretty sure we can handle this.
It's got to be able to handle at least 15 chairs around the bed.
When
you say we, you mean you?
What? When would you like this accomplished by? And I know today would be ideal, but
I mean, there's really no time limit.
Is this something we could do over the weekend?
I would. I don't have Milo this weekend, so I don't. So I would prefer to do it when he was around, so I can get. I have him tonight. He's in my care, so that I was planning on doing it tonight.
What are we doing with the old bed?
I'm going to put the mattress up in his. That's only a full size mattress, and I'm going to put it up. He has an attic I told you it's a Greg Brady situation where I'm going to put the mattress on that floor there, so when he has a sleepover, his friend can sleep on the mattress.
And the frame?
I'm gonna keep it, but I'm gonna put it in a storage area in my basement.
Okay. This is all very doable.
No, I know, but it just is a little bit above my expertise level. I'm an artist. I'm an artist, not a laborer. Riz, who is very active on the YouTube. Riz, go ahead, sir.
You already know. First and foremost, shout out to the Twitch fam. Hardy, Wallace, my boy, Freddie T, Nicholas, my boy Mike Lockhart. But hey, Fred, real talk, this has happened to me years ago. I had an issue, same thing. Bed was ridiculously huge. Couldn't get it up the steps. You're going to need some bungee cord or even some shrink wrap. You're going to need another person besides Milo, if he's not there, to basically do what that last caller said. Tie it up and push it up those steps, man. You got to manhandle it. Do your thing, baby. Love you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Riz. Griff, go ahead.
Hey, yeah, I was just going to say, why don't you get that Man Rocket T-Bone to help you with his,
it won't require turning his head.
Let me tell you something. That T-Bone, he moved a 3-in-1 game table pretty much single-handedly.
You're saying he's tall. He's strong.
Very, very strong. Very strong.
He did it at your house?
Milk in like a 10-piece and you're good to go. Get both of them in on it.
It was Christmas Eve. I bought a 3-in-1 game table off of Facebook Marketplace. T-Bone went with me to pick it up, and while I was negotiating a better price on the game table, T-Bone got tired of waiting for me, picked up the slate pool table on one side, which had an air hockey table on the other side, lifted it himself, and put it in the back of my truck.
Good God.
Wow.
That's what we need.
Well, Griff, you are indeed a listener. We do need T-Bone. I would love to have T-Bone. Just over. He can sit in one of the chairs.
Oh, my God. If he was wearing like one of them tight T-shirts of his, which is redundant. That's all he
HR?
has, are tight T-shirts. But Beetle, back me up on this. How would that be for his site? Having T-Bone helping you move heavy things?
Oh, yeah.
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 It's okay. You'll enjoy it.
I bet.
And he didn't say too much. He knows the score.
He never says too much, except he gets very angry that I didn't know his name like 6 years ago. He's like, "What's my name?" Which is a bold thing to do, because he knew I didn't know.
Yeah, well, you didn't know anything 6 years ago.
I knew plenty.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, right. Mark Bertrand, hello.
Imagine just having T-Bone around the house at all times, like just to do stuff.
Move heavy things.
Yeah, my son's taller than me now. You'd think that he would be this, like, he'd be able to lift everything, but he can't lift everything.
It's just because he's taller than you? No.
Yeah. I mean, he's taller than me. The man's over 6'2".
If I need to move this heavy dresser, where's Manute Bowl? No, I don't want him. I want somebody stocky and muscular.
You want Ken Patera, the bench press champ.
Well, who would you want to help move something right now? Do you want Porzingis, or would you rather have had
Grant Williams?
Grant Williams.
I did it for you. I
was going to say Marcus Smart.
Well, Porzingis would rip every muscle in his body. Mark Bertrand.
Soleus is injured. Ever hurt your soleus?
No.
Never even heard of it.
No, but am more correctly proportioned.
I saw that online, Doc, with the soleus diagnosis.
Yeah, good doctors are there.
Soleus.
Diagnosing people. Have you ever seen like an online, like a Twitter psychiatrist? That'd be great. Like, we'd medicate him for bipolar. Why not?
Give it a try.
I've seen enough.
Trial and error.
Yeah, let's just knock it out. What do you guys got going today?
We'll start with the Bruins, of course.
All right. There you go. The disappointment.